I'm a motherfucking G when it comes to this, because as soon as this mic gets in front of me, man, it's like I'm a different person. It's like I'm a different breed of nigga. I like Hulk out, man. It's a different motherfucker on this mic. It just makes me feel good. So when I feel good, I want you to feel good. So I'm happy that you're here. Today on the pod, you know I got my brother with me. Say what up to the bro people. Say what up to the people,
up,
bro.
Man? Yeah. I got it, man. You don't have to step all over your fucking intro.
All right, give me a fucking break every time. All right, cool. And we also have an incredible guest for you guys today. This man is a proprietor of The Drip. This is an entrepreneur, or entreprenegro, if you will. I'm talking about my good man, JUASO. Sir, say what up to the people, please.
Greetings, people. ¿Qué tal? Jambo, Ariako, Konnichiwa. What's up? I'm JUASO on JUASOGRAPHICS.com, home of Black Anime Streetwear, where the artists get majority of profits on our work. So we're almost at the point where we've given artists $100,000, and when we do, y'all will never see us again.
He said he gonna get brand new on you boys, brand new on you folks as soon as the money comes in.
I'm about to blow up and act like I don't know nobody.
I don't know nobody. From where? From who? Who is you? Get out my face.
I don't know.
Once you touch 100 bands, that's when Viz start looking. We got too much black and fire fan art for all that. We gotta dip out on this season.
Oh yeah, don't get
Right.
Dr. Sebi, bro. Don't get Dr.
Old
Sebi
price, not the new price, big dog. Old price, not the new price.
Yo, we are so happy to have you on the show today, man. We have collaborated in ways of actually patronizing this man, not like in the bad way, but like we've actually purchased goods and merchandise. We have used this shit to flex very hard. I've gone to multiple concerts and just stood on the back wall and waited for niggas to notice. I just sit back and they're like, wait a minute, hold on, what's that on that nigga hoodie? And they run up and they're like, wait a goddamn minute, where'd you get that, bro? And they're expecting like Hot Topic or some bullshit. I was like, nah, nigga, I got that custom online. You know shit. Yeah, we just a little light work, bro.
JUASOGRAPHICS.com. Y'all go ahead,
get over there. You know, they're trying to give $100,000 to young niggas all over the world. So you gotta eat while you can. You gotta eat while you can. Old niggas too. Old niggas make art. Yeah, you're right. Have you worked with any old niggas yet, JUASO?
Yeah, Oliver Banks is an OG. This man did the animation for Blurt Without Fear's intro. He did the animation for Fantastic Frankie intro. This man be making whole cartoons. Got funded, I think, at least 20, if not 40 bands on Kickstarter with the He-Man project he did with Hellspawn Cosplay. Dude is out here.
Okay.
I'm not even hip.
Yeah, I'm about to say, like, here's the deal, man. Sometimes I found, even in pre-pro, this man gets to speaking and I'm like, hold on, man. Give me 2 seconds, bro. Slow down and let me get my pen and paper. God damn, sir. God damn. I have to ask, man, because I hate to be ageist, but I'm 29 and I have to. So I'm like an elder millennial. And it's like a weird thing that we do is like, hey, how old are you? Like, what generation are you from? Let the people, unless you're secretive about that. Like, some people keep that under
He did make
wraps.
a reference that made me like, okay, he's definitely over X
Yes,
age.
exactly.
So
That's what I'm like. I'm like, hold on, man, because there's a mental situation where I'm trying to figure it out, man.
Right.
Yeah, I'm 21, but my dad raised me watching like mad cartoons from the 60s and like even older like animation. So I was raised on like Jetsons and Brave Star and He-Man and stuff.
Classic
and
animation.
By the time I actually That's a fact. And by the time I finally got to like cable, it was like 9. So like all of Teen Titans had finished. And Boomerang used to do this thing where I used to watch Boomerang religiously because Cartoon Network was being stupid at the time, playing like Total Drama Island and Flapjack all the time. I like Chowder, but I don't like Flapjack.
Chowder is that shit. Flapjack, you might want to give it another chance. Flapjack is okay. It's not good, but it's okay.
Here's the deal, man. Here's the deal. It takes a lot. It's a grind because I wasn't a Flapjack fan, right? Was not a Flapjack fan. Was very into Chowder. I actually liked Chowder, but Flapjack took me a second because I was like, whoa, hold on, wait. Captain Knuckles' backstory is kind of wild though. It's kind of
sad. What the fuck?
Why
is this whale black? Are you okay? Or is this okay?
And so I mean, there's a bit there, but like I understand because it's a on fucking face. It's very hard to get into. But like, sorry, I didn't mean to step all over your shit. So,
well, actually, before you actually expound on that, because you just said like, so you grew up on like 60s like classic cartoons, Hanna-Barbera type stuff. And you said it wasn't on cable. So like, how did you actually watch it?
VHSs?
Bootleg DVDs.
Fuck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Because that was my theory. My theory was like, okay, so niggas usually got like a bootleg DVD of like 12 episodes of XYZ, and then that just holds you over for like months until fucking somebody gets cable for another week.
Yo. No joke. I gotta tell a story, man. We're always into the diatribes and kind of like veering off, but I love the fact that that's how you got into older animation, because like I got into older animation very similarly because we spent a lot of time with no cable. Like we spent a lot of time with like VHSs that have been recorded at somebody's fucking cousins or uncles' houses, shit like that. So I'm talking like Woody Woodpecker, Casper, Tom and Jerry, that type of shit.
Right.
And so like, you know, back in the day when motherfuckers like cartoons really just don't need to fucking talk. Like let's just play an orchestra behind these niggas and they'll do stuff. Like
shit was funny.
That shit was fucking funny, and it was wild that was awesome entertainment at the time. But the funny thing about that, we were so into that shit, right? My pops used to keep just a stack of black VHS tapes, and you didn't have
black VHS.
They had no labels on them. Just you never know what you were really gonna get when you reached up in that motherfucker, right? So like
playing roulette with the fucking VHS.
One morning, right? Like they were sleeping in because obviously they partied because we weren't going to school. It's a Saturday or something like that. So they partied all night. They're just like, hey, if you want to watch something, just like crack the dough, reach your hand up and feel on the dresser and grab a tape, right? Cool. So that's what I did. I walked in, reached my hand up, grabbed the tape, pulled that bitch down, and I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going in. Me and my bro, we're going to watch something. So we popped that tape in. It was a whole portal. I was like, oh, snap, man. We watched for a good little bit till my pops woke up and was like, what is that in the living room?
What the fuck? Well, that's how it went. That's really how it is.
He came in, he was like,
play VHS roulette.
What are you doing? And I understand because you probably have had that experience. Give it like, were your bootlegs like clearly sharpied and labeled, or were like every now and then you run up on the purple one with no fucking label?
The good news is that my experiences that I had with bootlegs was at my grandma's house. My grandma from the Bahamas, so every week she goes to the flea market, buy like $20 worth of stuff, and get like 100 DVDs. And we just be in there. But my grandma used to work for this old man, and this old man, like she used to work for like people that used like old people that needed caretaking of them.
Yeah.
And so she used to work for this old man, and homie died. So when homie died, we was in his house, and my grandma was basically like, "If you want some, you can have it, because all this stuff getting taken by the government."
Right, it's all going to the
estate. This man's house.
That's a good time. That's a good time.
What's going on the estate sale?
But wait. When you walked in, right? What's the first thing you grabbed? Like, what's the first thing that caught your eye? Can you remember?
Yeah, I really want to know about this.
Because this old white man gave me all the Hardy Boys books when he was alive.
Yo,
those were so good.
Yo, the blue and white. Was it the blue and the yellow covers?
Was the blue and the yellow covers. Yeah.
Bro.
Had me trying to find out what a jalopy was. My dad was like, "What kind of car you want?" I said, "A jalopy. I want to be like Chet." I mean,
Yo, for those of you that don't know, Hardy Boys was a y'all can Google it. We in the fucking 21st century, but like Hardy Boys was a classic novel series about two boys that solve fucking like country mysteries. I mean, sometimes they were like more fantastical, but usually it was just some bullshit. Like it was like, oh damn, around the farm, shit, old Jenkins, like just cruising around. I love that shit. My stepdad got me into that stuff. That's wild. So like you caught the Hardy Boys, you were like mad books. So like you already knew you were on the reading shit like at the time, like way back.
I was, and then I found out that this man had mad VHS tapes. So now I'm looking around, and this is an old white man, so he ain't got no cool cartoons. Like, man, this is kind of trash. I see cowboy stuff, but like I don't really like cowboys at that time. And then I saw like this one thing in the corner. Like, what is this? And I pulled it, and it was like a dude that was looking at the camera as if he had just taken the largest bump of substances in his life. And then under him was this like she looked like the white lady that was the robot in Blade Runner with the crazy hair.
Yo,
she was flipped upside down. Then in the middle of them was like a cartoon like explosion bubble. I was like, oh, I'm gonna put this back now. I hope this person looks happy.
This was a book or this was a VHS?
This was a VHS.
That was definitely a VHS cover.
What the fuck? Had, I gotta know what that is.
On it. Yeah. And they had like manga effects on top of the cover.
That's gotta be crazy. That has gotta be crazy. Like the entire time, because like, and that's the beauty of like old media. Like you go through like old shit and just like leaf through it or whatever, and then you see something that just like captivates your fucking brain.
Yeah, your body is like, what? The whole shit shut down. Like, hold on, wait a goddamn second. Like, and you just put that shit quietly back. It's unlocked.
I can't be caught at the crib with this.
It's unlocked that part of your brain.
That's how I felt when I saw Spawn for the first time. I was like 8 years old, and I was reading this collection of Image comics, and Savage Dragon. I was like, okay, this is kind of like Hulk. This makes sense. And I was like, Witchblade. And I was like, oh, this is kind of like Mystique. This makes sense. And I see Spawn.
Yeah.
And there's so much detail in the art.
Yeah.
Chains flying all over the place.
Is that Todd Howard?
No, that's
Todd McFarlane.
Yeah, like Todd McFarlane.
That's Todd McFarlane. Yeah. Who the fuck? Todd Howard is fucking Bethesda.
Yeah.
All right,
Like,
fucking
what?
that shit's fucking crazy.
McFarlane. But
Spawn was popping like when what you were like 5, right?
Yeah, no, that's what I say.
Late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, this was like I was like 8 or 9, like less than 8 or 9. I had like 7 or 8, like definitely.
Because I remember watching the Spawn movie and going crazy.
Yeah, the Spawn movie was really good. Michael Jai White does not get enough credit. I really don't understand why he's not in more like, I mean, I guess because he has more like integrity, I guess, if you could say that about that nigga, like, because he does B movies out the ass, like he will get that check. But I wish, like, you see him in DC, he's like, oh yeah, here's like a henchman number 2 in Batman or whatever the fuck. Yeah. But like, he fucking was a great leading man in the Spawn movie. But I don't even remember who voiced that nigga. Did you ever get a chance to watch the HBO Spawn
animated series?
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either. So I didn't give a fuck about it like that. At that point in time, I was watching entirely other shit. I was in my age group. I was like age appropriate by the time Spawn came out.
Nah, that was some shit. Like, I love that the experience of like most anime watchers, you end up, there's always this moment, right, where some shit is like, oh, that's almost, is it too far? And this, like you might find out like you're a bit of an edgelord. Like, it's like, damn, I'm really into this shit. Because you mentioned Witchblade like it was nothing, right? But Witchblade is pretty fucking gory. It's gory. There's very scantily clad women, and you just kind of blew through Witchblade like, but Spawn though. And Spawn really is that shit. Like, you got it, not only will it like call into question like how you feel about gore, but it'll also call into question how you feel about religion, general thought process. There's a lot to process. You said you were 8? Yeah, like that's a lot to like get into.
Luckily, it was an Image sampler. So it was a sampler that had like 3 pages out of like 20 Image comics. I didn't go through Spawn and like read all of it till middle school. Now in middle school, I was as close to edgelord as I got because I read through Spawn from beginning to like right after the whole God and Satan thing. And I was like, all right, this is a bit much, but we made it through this. And then the thing that had me was because Spawn was on board. Like, give me a black superhero. He out here finna kill the devil. He got superpowers. I'm with it. Then they're like, and he love a black woman. I'm like, finally. And then he's like, and then his best friend knocked up his wife. And I was like, no. And then they're like, and then they had a baby. And I'm like, no. And then Spawn's entire reason for coming, except for doing a deal with the devil to get back to Earth, is so that he can see his wife again.
And his kids.
And so he get back to life. 5 years done passed. He see the baby. He see his best friend as the dad of the baby. He done married his wife, and he's like, "Dang, I want to kill him, but he's kind of a good father. I can't really do nothing about this." Man, so this man Spawn is crazy. This man takes over all of his trials. He goes through his tribulations. Has a whole power arc. He develops himself. The mother of creation gifts him with the power to reshape reality, and all he wants to do is be with Wanda. But before that, he asks for his memories of his past. And these delightful writers, these beautiful souls, decide to have this black man who loves this black woman and is willing to sell his soul to be with him again. And even though he was barren, so he couldn't have a child, through his best friend, now his wife can have a child. And you learn that she wasn't barren and he wasn't barren, but in a fit of either PTSD or immense rage, this man punched his pregnant wife in the stomach, and now the soul of a baby went to hell, and now he got to fight the demon soul of his unborn child that he punched into death.
Yeah. Mind you, you're 12 years old reading that shit. Just you're like, fucking 11 years old, like, oh, shit. Yeah, that's too deep for the intro. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yo, I gotta ask, man, and this is leading into more of the edgelord stuff because during my edgelord phase, I kind of got really into this. Were you a fan of Invader Zim?
I'm glad you didn't say Berserk. No, I was not.
Why are you glad? Okay, we got to get into that, but please finish Invader Zim.
That's an interesting conversation. About
I didn't get into Berserk until my 20s.
OG so Berserk fans are weird, dog. OG Berserk fans are weird because you got to think the OG Berserk fans are introduced through like the real series, right? Like the first thing you see is Guts fucking this demon bitch. Like that's the first thing. There's a rape horse. Like you're reading it. There's a lot of stuff. Like they're getting
rape horse didn't succeed. Okay.
Yeah, people that actually like started getting into it now. Like you get introduced through the Golden Arc movies and different shit like that. So you
or just YouTubers talking about it.
Yeah,
and then they make everybody. They make it sound like it's just all fun and rainbows. And it's like, yeah, you got to get past the little rape part, and then boom, you'll be fine. But no, that shit.
There's a lot of it.
There's a lot of it.
I tried to read Berserk 3 times. Couldn't do it. Every time I got further, and then something worse would happen.
Right. Good. Can my man's catch a break?
No, that's the whole thing.
Definitely not.
He has to struggle. And you know what's crazy? It's coming back. Like they officially confirmed after his death. We're gonna continue it. All his editors and the illustrators like, okay, cool. We've got his notes. We can do this. And I'm like, all right, I guess we'll see.
I don't know if you guys, because I genuinely, but I want to know more about your Invader Zim point.
Yeah, I was like, I have a little bit, but I didn't forget because this shit's burned in my brain. So you're good to go. Usually I forget points like during these diatribes, but I'm good here. But were you a fan of Invader Zim?
Not at all. I ain't have no Invader Zim. Like the time as soon as I got cable, Avatar was already on season 2. Like we in Earth Kingdom territory now. Okay. So like when I got cable, I still ain't really see like I have no attachment to Avatar season 1 because I wasn't watching TV at the time. Gotcha, so when season 2 came around, I was like, Toph is dope. I bought the video games. I like these video games because they was on the Wii, and we gonna watch Avatar to the end. And the people that made Avatar worked on Invader Zim, so that's the only reason I respect it. I can't watch. Yeah, but they did. Like, they worked on Invader Zim. They went to Korea to go teach the animators how to work on it, and in the meantime, it was building up the greatest 2D American animated series of all time.
Which I do agree. It is definitely the greatest 2D American animated series of all time.
Now we're speaking about Avatar.
Batman is the second. Yes. Batman is number 2.
You talking about the original
Batman,
animated
1992
series?
Batman animated series? Yes.
Oh fuck yeah!
I'll agree. I'll agree. Everything like it's
no cap.
I fell in love with Nightwing there. Like it was just like, all right, cool. Yeah. Like
mullet Nightwing too, which is the worst Nightwing.
Yeah, and then he cut his hair. I was very like yo, he cut it. Remember when he cut his shit? Like that was like, all right, cool, bet. Like I'm here.
Character development.
Indeed. I felt like such a nerd. When Teen Titans introduced Nightwing. And like I was like, oh, that's fucking Nightwing. You guys know who the fuck that guy is.
But I was asking about Invader Zim because the author of it, not the author, but the creator and illustrator of Invader Zim, she actually wrote a comic book called I don't know why I was like somehow I was confused. But yeah, he wrote a comic book called Johnny the Homicidal Maniac that had like 3 arcs. It's very crazy. Like dives into the god stuff. I don't know if you ever like got a chance to like even on the off chance hear about that.
I have not heard of Johnny the Homicidal Maniac.
It's some white boy shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like it is
grade A white boy shit.
Dead ass. Like, and he read it too, so he's gonna front like
I like it. Like, I mean, I was an edgelord at the time. So.
It's literally that. Like, homie is all about killing people, and then he's literally a maniac because he uses the blood from the people that he kills to paint this wall in his basement, and then he's like. He takes orders from these 2 cardboard cutouts that are the Doughboys, and the Doughboys are 2 different, like they're different niggas. They're on the same page sometimes, and they're off the same page, which kind of represents like 2 different forms of his personalities. And eventually, the Doughboys become real. Some wild shit. He goes to heaven. He goes to hell. It's like in the Invader Zim style of art, right? And then also dives and all this stuff. I guess it's just an opportunity for the creator to kind of like get a lot of the stuff out, or the themes that he's looking to attack that he didn't get a chance to do in Invader Zim. I was gonna recommend it if you had been an Invader Zim fan, but if you're not, if you're a listener and you're into the Invader Zim thing, definitely check out Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. But I advise you not to leave it around your kids.
Oh yeah, because we'll fuck that up.
It will fuck them up.
The magic of independent comics is that it gives creators the ability to tap into aspects of the imagination they otherwise wouldn't. Like one of my favorite series ever is Deadly Class. And deadly class is like a school of assassins, and all the assassins are like in high school. So you got all the regular high school and stuff, but it's exacerbated by like cartels and KGB people and MI6.
Oh shit!
And there's a part where the dude, the main character, who's a homeless Venezuelan second generation assassin in training, ends up fighting the head of a cartel's son on acid in Las Vegas as his best friend is trying to kill his hillbilly fat.
Yo,
that shit
there's
good.
So many hyphens in that. It can't be bad. It can't be bad. He'll be fine. No, I was on board in Las Vegas. Like I was. It was ramping up for me, and I was like, we hit the denouement right there in Las Vegas. I was like, oh shit.
Oh yeah.
This man gets punched in the face. Psychedelic effects start coming off of him as he gets punched in the face.
Hell yeah.
It's tight. And then in the series, they actually did a good job. Like it's one of the few live actions of a comic book where like not only was it faithful, but it amplified the source material.
See,
fuck yeah.
What's wild is I'm about to have my first experience with hallucinogens. Like I'm preparing to actually try mushrooms for the first time, and so so I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready to cut out a lot of the liquor, processed sugars, different shit like that to just kind of like cleanse a bit. Just because like I've heard really bad things like, hey, don't eat bread before you take mushrooms. I was like, what the fuck? The carbohydrates will turn into monsters in your brain. I was like.
Like
now I understand that's bullshit.
The experience that you need to have.
That's what everybody that tells me.
Hallucinogens and shit.
Are you a fan? Oh, you don't have to out yourself if you don't want to.
Okay, cool.
Not frequently.
If you're worried about like brand deals and shit, you don't gotta fucking tell us anything.
Don't fumble the bag. Don't fumble the bag on a well-spoken token.
In short, I was at an existential crisis because I've like studied like a lot of stuff. Like
What age were you?
It was like
last month.
Hey, we stand a nigga that be like, hey, no, we going through it today. That was like 3 weeks ago. No joke. I'm
right. Shit, I'm still in it.
People always try to act like the shit is in the super past. Like, nah, that was like, when I was younger, bro. And I'm like, you mean like 6 weeks ago, nigga? Like,
yeah. We be having breakdowns out here. It's okay.
Mad breakdowns. I'll put a podcast on hold for 8 months just cause, nigga. My dad's sick.
Right. Just okay. Back to hallucinogens.
Yeah. Dead ass though. So like, all right, but you've experimented during your existential crisis situation. Like, what was somebody like? Hey, you should try this, or was it something that was like, hey, I did some research and like went after it?
I did all of the research. 2 years ago, I had the first. Well, 6 years ago, I had the first existential crisis. And I got out of it with my religion. And then the second year, I had another existential crisis, and I got out of it through studying like Zen, like
Taoism, Buddhism, Taoism, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like studying Miyamoto Musashi, reading Vagabond and stuff.
Yes, sir.
Vagabond will get you out of an existential.
Miyamoto Musashi, Book of Five Rings will definitely open your shit and be like, oh, you know what? Hey, hold on,
I might be wilding.
I might just need to categorize this shit. Like, hold on, let me access the
compartmentalize
void. And then
more.
Just maybe I am the problem. Maybe it's not my enemy.
Right.
Maybe my enemy is me.
Exactly.
It's not the ops. It's me. It was always me.
I gotta spin the block on myself.
I got it. I'm going to end me and stop this shit entirely.
No, wait.
And then you realize you've gone off the deep end.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody that's experiencing,
that's what makes it beautiful.
Yeah, indeed. Anybody that's experiencing trauma or suicidal thoughts or anything like that, end me was not what he was referring to in your life.
Nah, because every time I think I've gone through 3 existential crises, right? And I've always been in a position where I had to provide for people, so I couldn't lean into drugs or anything else like that. I don't want to use the word drugs because drugs is bad, but I couldn't lean into like
substances.
Substances and shit. So it was always like, okay, cool. What's the common denominator? The common denominator is me, and that's what I need to do. I need to get rid of me, and it was never sad. I was never off my rocker. It was always just like, you know what? This is what'll fix it, and then you get to the next level and you realize like, oh yeah, that doesn't fix that.
What I'll say is this, like, right, like I get what you mean here. Again, this is something we just do, like diatribes or shit like that. I like to explain just for the guests' sake. Niggas on the pod know what the fuck it is. But so like you like your eyes went wide. I was like, oh shit, everything cool? Like, yeah, there's nobody with a gun in front of you, right? Like, like blink twice if you're safe, nigga. Like, so like you'll hit to a point where it's like, is it me? Am I the common denominator? Am I the person that needs to change? And 9 times out of 10, I'll typically answer, oh yes, that's me. I definitely need to change. So like I'll make the concession, be like, all right, cool. Like, where can I make this move? But like I've probably had total but now I'm 29. Jesus Christ, like 4 or 5 different existential crises. Like when I turned 19, like dead ass, I was like standing in my apartment. I had moved in with 3 niggas, and then I was with 7 niggas, all in like 1 2-bedroom house, and then they all dipped, and then I was alone in that 2-bedroom house. And I was like, oh, this place is covered in fucking shit, and I'm all by myself. And like you, my first existential crisis was dealt with my religion. Like this was a point where I was like, oh shit, God, like we really need to connect because shit's bad right now. Shit's bad at this. I mean, at the time it was definitely God. It's still God, but like I also acknowledge like multiple beings. I acknowledge people that like decide to like believe differently, but at the time it was God. I was like, nigga, please, like. And so yeah, we got out that situation.
So kind.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was. It fucked my credit for a few years, and we're good. The next existential crisis was a relationship shit. I was like, oh God, like I love this bitch. I thought we were supposed to be together forever, and now shit's crumbling. Bitch don't want to be with me, and I got through that by being a hoe. Like I was like,
do that through copious amounts of relationships,
lots and lots of casual encounters.
We learn from each other's experiences.
I agree, wholeheartedly agree, and that's one of the reasons why I liked. I fucked with what you do on your social medias and beyond, because I do think that like whatever you see on social media is the curated image that you put forth in front of people so that you can push whatever you actually want to happen, right?
Yes.
So that's why I fuck with what you do, because you make sure you get on lives and interact with people in a very grounded and
I'm not trying to suck any dicks. That's exactly the vibe that I get.
Like, won't be no dicks to suck in here,
no
boy. I'm
dick sucking on this live, boy.
Right.
Like
right.
Hey,
so I've always appreciated that. I actually wanted to ask you, like, so like you're an artist, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, right. So you're an artist. What was the entire thought process, the journey for how you started like the JUASOGRAPHICS, the JUASO brand or whatever? Like what was the step-by-step, play-by-play? Because you're a very, what's the word? Spiritual, intellectual person, and you do a very capitalistic thing. And it's not necessarily bad, but it's
not at all. Capitalism is
those are things that always butt heads in my head. It's just like, I want to be authentic, I want to be fucking real,
but I don't want to sell out.
I need money.
I'm not gonna sell out. I swear to God, I'm not gonna get these crackers any goddamn extra time. Yeah. Like, and I find out that you don't actually give the crackers a whole lot of extra time. Like, it's like crackers ain't in your pockets. It was wild. I'm like, oh shit.
I'd venture to say he gives the crackers no time.
Yeah. Also, shout out to the hunky listeners. We love you, white folks.
Ah, that's fair. That's fair.
Hey, white people, we need your dollars. White, like this the thing that I learned when I was studying Basquiat is that alternative white people fund independent Black creation, because alternative white people don't want to be plugged into old money. So like if they got new money or if they create new money, they put their new money into like Black creators. That's why we got
and new money is Black money.
Childish Gambino, all them Black people on Saturday. Oh God, all them Black people on Saturday Night Live. Yeah. Y'all almost made a big mistake right there. All them Black people on Saturday Night Live. We love all y'all. Keep going.
Shout out to Michael Shea and the rest of them.
Hey, Kenan Thompson, wow, exactly. She's gonna get up out of here. Yo, shout out to big ups to Blondie, the OG of hip hop that brought it in.
You've been trying to let this off for weeks. He's been trying to say that Blondie, I don't know if you're familiar, but Blondie had a rap verse in like years and years and years ago. So what was the thought process behind like the journey, right? Like when did it start? How old were you? Like what was the step-by-step process to where you was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do? Because I heard you talk about it on PPF before, past and present future. anime, and I'm like, this man is cooking his shit. He's really trying to let his stuff off, but I don't know if you got into like the whole thought process.
There was a little bit of time limit on that one, but I will give you
word?
the full tea. Yes, because people got lives and people got kids and people got
exactly. Life happens.
That's a fact. But if I can give you the whole story, it really
ain't no time limit, bro.
Hey, greatness. It came down to when I was an Instagram artist, like when I first started doing Instagram art. What I was told was that all you got to do is be good at drawing and be good at using these hashtags, and cute girls would ascend from the rafters in order to bless your DM.
And what year was this?
18-year-old. This was 2018 because I was 18.
That's very plausible, but go on. Because the algorithm had not changed to what it is today. Where it was like, okay, all I got to do is like do a couple of fucking hashtags and they will come.
It was the easiest existence ever because you want to talk to somebody, you draw them. You want to talk to somebody more, you just talk to them because they're freaking bored and there's not that much content. Like unless you following Daquan, you ain't got like a thorough supply of fire memes just headed for you. Even like
Daquan, especially in 2018, was at his fucking peak. That shit was fucking hilarious. That dude would just come on and was like, I don't give a fuck. What check? I'm not making any money. I don't give a fuck. I love Daquan back in that day. But go on. You were saying about like back in 2018, you was an Instagram artist.
Yeah, so I was an Instagram artist. So I would go to the Explore page, find girls that were cute, and draw them. And that was just my entire existence. And then I found out about OC art. And so I'd like see people's characters and I was like, dang, I need to make a character. And then I'd make a character. And then people would start asking me for commissions. And when they started asking me for commissions, I realized, oh, snap, I could be getting money from this. But I'm running out of time to do all these commissions for people and keep up my mediocre grades in school. So I'm going to just sell these people posters instead because all the artists were selling prints and stuff. They were doing like limited runs of prints and they were doing like hand embellished prints. So I started selling prints and those weren't really selling because my fans ain't really care about. Like my fans liked my art, but they didn't want to buy it.
Yeah. So like you didn't feel like you made commercial art. You made like what I call like pop art, like art that you can make on the internet and people can like it, but it's not something that you would want to put in your home.
Exactly, but once I started putting on clothes, that's when it got different because all of the characters that I was drawing were like archetypes. They were different types of people that could exist. Because people started buying it, and I realized, oh, this is interesting, but I need better marketing because like I don't like the attention that comes from promoting my image because it makes my life complicated. So I was like, I'm gonna need some cute girls to wear these things. So this wonderful blessing that I had drawn previously decided to not only buy things, take many pictures in the melanin. This is when the melanin shirt first came out. So she took all these pictures in the melanin shirt, then got her sister to take pictures in the melanin shirt. And so
it was equally blessing?
Indeed. It was a perfect combination of things. Then after that started happening, cosplayers started buying the stuff and wearing it too. Oh, this is power. Yes. So after that, we had this establishment of all of this greatness wearing and blessing the clothes.
Indeed.
The fan base was based purely off of the collection of greatness that had a collection of Juaso clothes. And then what I wanted to share with the artists, because I realized what happens with a lot of artists is they have a big selling point in the beginning, and then their fan bases trail off. And so to not have the fan base trail off, you got to keep adding more fans.
Right.
And if they're always going to be your fans, you're going to get the type of fans that you have. But if they're different people's fans, you get cross-pollination. So I started collaborating with artists and getting different artists on the site. And I wanted them to trust me because, like, even though I've been drawing for a second, I've never had like a gigantic following.
Yeah.
I don't like drawing Blackified versions of anime characters.
We can talk about that too, because I remember you said something about that earlier.
Yeah, I was actually
like,
very
like
ready
draw
for that.
Blackified characters, and I'm like, see, I agree with that, but I'm also just like, I'm not in a position culturally to be able to say that.
This is actually
but I want
perfect
you to
time.
finish. I want you to finish what you're saying.
Yeah, perfect time to have the
we
Night
can
Skins
talk about
conversation.
that after this. Yeah.
Oh, I said perfect time to have the Night Skins conversation, but like, dead ass, keep going. Like you got.
Because that's the person. This is the guy I always wanted to have the Night Skins conversation with.
Yes,
but go on.
Indeed.
Excellent. And so I realized that if we have cross-pollination of different artists with different audiences that are also in different social positions, then we'll all keep getting different types of people, and thus a rising tide should lift all boats. But what I found out from it, I DM'd hundreds of cosplayers on a daily basis just typing want to collab so that I could get people to send stuff to, and then those people would have their people buy stuff, and then that money's paid for the rest of the stuff.
Quick question.
And it was like an entire year straight. Yeah.
Quick question. Okay, so you said that you were typing in like want to collab. As a dude who has to type to people like want to collab, I do the long message followed by like I really like what you do. I really want to have you on XYZ. Is there a way that we can schedule this, right? Did you have the shirts and clothes on deck when
you actually reached out? That's interesting enough.
No.
You did not?
It's all made to order. Yeah, it's all made to order. Because like it's 100 people. I ain't got 100 shirts, but I know
that's
like,
what I was
10
worried
of them
about.
people gonna respond. 5 of them people gonna say yes, maybe.
Right.
True,
exactly.
true.
It's the law of what's the word? Law of attrition? Whatever. I don't fucking remember. But it was just like if you try 100 times, you might hit it at least 3. Yeah, and all you need is 1.
That's the rule of attrition.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that was it.
Because like if I fire 100 arrows, at least 6 of these motherfuckers gonna hit somebody.
Are gonna hit the target. Yeah.
Exactly. You mess around, throw 100 punches in 1 second. You don't have no Dragon Ball Z knockout moment. Something wrong. You need to go back. To
exactly. You need to go figure that shit out because at the end of the day, it don't matter. We want the result.
I'm saying when Vegeta blitz you, bro, one of these motherfuckers is definitely hitting, and it's gonna be a haymaker.
That's it. And you can't hit square that many times.
Yeah, right. No. All right, my bad. But anyway, so you DM'd 100 cosplayers, and you were like, all right, I just need something.
Yeah, and eventually it was flipped with so much input that there were enough that were wearing stuff that their followers became my followers, and I was able to make content geared toward them, which was mostly based around because what initially I wanted was I wanted young, cool black anime people, which in my mind were cosplayers, because all of the cosplayers are like 8 years older than me. As an 18-year-old, they're only 24 now. They're no longer 24, but at the time they were 24.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I
went to exactly. I was like, okay, these people are like whole functional adults, unlike me. I'm skipping class to go do paintings every day, and so I got to this convention in Philly, and I met El Jefe himself, Manuel Godoy, the leader of Black Sands, and I was like, hey, Manuel.
Now, y'all niggas that don't know Black Sands, these individuals stepped up on Shark Tank, and presented a all-black project completely for Black Sands is an Egyptian base. Like, would you call it an anime? Like, I think he definitely calls it an anime. Like, what I'll say is he calls it an anime. You can watch it and judge for yourself, but that's the cool thing about art, is subjective, so get into it. But what it is fucking dope, incredible for the culture, and this guy is not faking it in the slightest. Ex-military dude. Very interesting story. If you haven't checked it out, please do. I just had to plug that shit real quick, bro, before you. So you met that nigga
in Philly?
I met him a couple of times. The first time I met him was at a con in Philly called ECBOT, which is East Coast Comics. It's the East Coast Black Comic Convention, basically. Okay. And it's the one they have in Philly. I used to go to a lot of Black Comic Cons because my dad had me going to a lot of Black Comic Cons. One called Onyx Con in Atlanta. Another one in Ekbak called Ekbak in Philly. They got Wakanda Con. They got mad Black. And so the first time I met him was at Ekbak. Second time I met him was at this Great Philadelphia Comic Con. And I only went there because I got this friend that was doing like interviews and stuff. And she was a cosplay girl, but you don't know she's Black unless you tell her she's Black. So she had access to certain places that we didn't have access to.
Indeed.
We utilized that access in order to get.
She was white passing, or she was just light skinned to the. Yes. Okay.
I was gonna say, I think we could all agree like that.
No. Because sometimes you can be like, yeah, she can get in different places. Because white people love light skinned blacks too.
They do.
So, you know what I mean?
This explains why Chris Brown makes it, and Tory Lanez is getting locked up.
Yeah. Tory Lanez isn't even dark skinned, nigga. What the fuck?
He's darker than Chris. Right.
It's the reason Giveon doesn't get
That's just the lack of sun.
Exactly. It's the fucking it's the fucking extra cold northern wind.
This man got residual ash on top of his skin from all of that cold weather.
And after he got deported, it was like, oh no way. Yeah.
Right.
But yes.
Yes.
So I talked to Manuel, and Manuel Medisa, he told me that he's like, I know who you are, and you have some cool stuff, but you need to stop focusing on the kids. And I was like, why? And he was like, you need to be focusing on families. was like, why?
Whoa.
And he's like, because kids don't have any money. And I was like, oh.
True.
Kids don't have any money.
Hey.
He was
Don't
like,
have
you
money.
should be marketing the families. Yeah, so after that, I changed my entire marketing plan. I started focusing on like community, like the Blerd community, because ultimately what Blerds want is to help in creating a world where the things that they like don't cause them scrutiny and pain, and they want their kids to also be able to enjoy what they like without being made fun of or having their lives made more difficult.
Clip that shit.
And so people are willing to invest in that. That's the reason this man Manuel made millions of dollars crowdfunding. It's the reason we got Static Shock. It's the reason Mr. Terrific is in the Justice League Unlimited cartoon. Don't nobody care about Mr. Terrific.
Hey,
Mr. Terrific.
Hey,
shit.
I'm sorry, but yo, let's talk about the nigga with the motherfucking T on his face, man. The T mask, the T mask that allowed this, this nigga to survive the dark side anti-life equation. Yeah. I'm just saying, this motherfucker has feats in the motherfucking DC universe. Mr. Terrific is the shit. I don't give a fuck what nobody say.
What's crazy is I never,
useless,
I never fucking thought of that. I never thought, like, you know what? At the end of the day, all Blerds want is for their kids is to not experience the same shit that they experience.
And we all think that thought. That's the wild thing about it. Like, I guaranteed think that thought. My brother put me on to this dude on YouTube, Belief in Fatherhood, right? And it's one of the I love this guy. And like watching him interact with his children, like watching the way that he like tries to and create content around his family. It's literally the perfect like aspect of what you're speaking of. And at the same time, no point at any moment did anybody feel exploited or anything like that. It's not a reality television show. It's something that, I mean, I guess some people could say is rare that you see a black father, but it's awesome to be put on display. It's just something that I love about that, and I see where that mindset and marketing should be. It's pretty fucking dope.
What does that look like? So like when you shift that marketing plan from like, okay, trying to be the cool Blerd avenue to, all right, let's make it the fucking community based thing. Like it sounds like you have to broaden everything that you fucking had planned.
You do, but that's what makes it so fun. Because this, like the Bible says, be in the world but not of the world. So although like I am black, and I am a nerd, that's a fact. Although I am black and I am a nerd, I don't be wanting to go to these cosplay parties. And I like conventions because I get to go meet like artists and talk to them about their projects. But I ain't out here like doing the Cupid shuffle dressed like a Naruto character.
That's so awkward.
Like,
you're not at the after. You're not at the after party at the con because that's every after party. I was like, holy shit! There's the black kid. Yo, make a dance circle because he's about to bust it.
Go Antoine! Go Antoine! Go
Jay Sean! Go Jay Sean! Go Jay Sean!
So when you want to attack the community, but you don't want to be when you want to strategically implement the community and your mission for world domination, but you like ain't really social enough to be active participant in the community, because it would be fraudulent to be out here breakdancing and making it clap in the Koski uniform.
They would know.
Person that
they would know that
so
that's
not
exactly. And at the same time, it's like you're shucking and jiving. You're not a minstrel. Like that's not the point of this whole situation. Like you don't want to get. Well, I hate to say, like you don't want to get Sammy Davis Jr. Do you want to be Sam Cooke? Like. There's a whole different like vibe. No offense to Sammy Davis. Like,
yeah, Sammy Davis needed what needed to be done at the time, and his kids is going to eat forever because
like this nigga's a part of the Rat Pack. Like, you cannot deny. Like,
you decided not to be Antoine of the Dance Circle, but you were explaining how that looked.
Yeah, excuse me.
Yes, I saw good. So even though I ain't going to be the person making it Kamehameha in the dance circle, I did realize that if you give a platform to the people that do, and redirect their energy in a way that's beneficial to them, when they become more useful in the future, you get to like call on them. It's like having like a power up in a video game, or like a special save.
It's like having a summon,
or dead ass a summon for sure. Like
what it is.
Like,
yes.
That's it. Come here, Antoine.
That's a fact. And so I started redirecting my energy into finding the people that had the most ability, and then working with them to figure out how to structure their content and push their content, so that it could be seen and accepted by the people in what they could represent instead of who they felt they could be. So there's an artist that we worked with, and this man had a collection where he was doing like My Hero Blackademia. And he was like one of the first Blackified anime characters that we worked with. His name is Seth Jokuno 3. And what this man did is he took XXX Tentacion and Todoroki and put them together. So once he did that, I went to the podcasters. Yeah, he's dope. That's one of my favorite people.
I've seen that shit floating around. That shit's amazing. Like I've seen that shit. That's wild.
Yeah, he's really good. And but a lot of artists don't know how to get tapped into the cosplayers, don't know how to get tapped into the podcasters. And honestly, a lot of artists ain't got a lot to offer y'all unless they got a whole bunch of numbers or unless their personality is secretly crazy. A lot of artists ain't really know how to express ourselves vocally because we've been busy learning how to draw our entire lives.
Right.
So being able to tap him into the podcasters, it was a podcast called the Anime Teapot. And because I made sure that his product got into the hands of them, they were able to make his art reach way more people than other podcasts were able to make his art reach way more people. Because podcasters are the best networkers in the entire community. They're like the information network that we have. Like the whole reason I know about the Blerd community is because of a podcast that got the word Blerd in it, and then the second one is because of the the Blerd View. And without the Blerd View, I would have never known like which cosplayers to hit up. I never would have known that cosplayers are entire people and not just JPEGs to be objectified on the internet. So like podcasts are very important. Indeed. The histories of our people and the stories of our people. And having that stamp from that podcast allowed me to talk to a lot of people. Otherwise never would have been able to. And so after that whole thing happened, I started realizing that if you can provide value to people in the community and operate in the community in a way where people that normally would interact with each other, interacting with each other productively, then you ain't got to do nothing but let the seeds grow. And the more seeds you plant, the more seeds going to grow. And like if something good happens, that's what's up. And if something bad happens, you can't control people.
This nigga planting his soil is planting his seeds on fertile ground. This nigga sowing seeds on fertile ground. We talking like Jesus' third parable. This
nigga is a genius.
This nigga, I'm sorry, bro. You was going in. I had to just pause real quick. I was like, yo.
But he's 100% right. At the end of the day, it's like play to your strength.
Build a foundation. Whatever you're at, like, don't be, if you're not the fucking nigga that's fucking doing the motherfucking woo-wop wham, the Tootsie Roll in the fucking anime. Cause like, by the way, I love the fact that you got like multiple references. You did not go the same route each time. That shows true blue creativity. This nigga's witty. He was clapping back at motherfuckers in third grade real hard. Like dead ass. Yo, I fucking Jesus Christ. Continue. I just had to give my listeners a quick break because they hadn't heard my ass speak in a second because I was just deep in this shit. I was like, all right, cool, nigga.
I'm very invested. I'm very invested because it's like you don't just create something out of thin air.
Indeed.
You gotta fail, you gotta fuck it up, and then you gotta be like, you know what? This is what truly is the path. And then once you get to the path, you gotta be like, oh, you know what? The path that got me here is not the path that's gonna get me higher.
Exactly. So, and the fact that you understand and utilize each resource that you see, and that not only are you building relationships, but you're also looking at individuals calculatively and saying, okay, cool. How can I benefit this person by adding value? And then also, how can they benefit me? Which is always good, but none of that is predatory. That is
the essence of networking. And that's what a lot of people are scared of. A lot of people are scared of being utilized. And it's just like, that's just how it works. That's how they, and you know what I mean by they, that's how they got to where they were. They were like, okay, I'm being utilized. In turn, I'm going to utilize.
Because things should be beneficial at least.
Oh wait!
Oh no, I like it. Yo, cook, nigga. Yeah, go ahead. No, I like contradiction and like I enjoy this. Discourse is the fucking root of all like real information.
So
yes,
when we look at the Blerd community as it exists, and this ultimately comes to why I'm like planning my exit from the Blerd community. But when we look at how the Blerd community exists, you can. Yeah, because you peep game, and this is the game at the basic level for everybody. So you got this is in terms of efficacy, the ability to make movements. There's like the everybody else nerd community, which includes Asian Americans, because Asian Americans got like this,
the general nerd.
This conflict that exists culturally. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you got the Asian American nerd community, which really ain't got no place because like it's a whole lot of conflict in there. Then you got like the Black nerd community, and the Black nerd community encompasses like the Hispanic and Caribbean communities because such is the way of the world in this part of the free world. And then you got the alternative community. Now the interesting thing about the alternative community is that that's Hot Topic. Hot Topic is $1 billion company. And
Yeah.
once you get past the alternative community, now you're in the realms of like Billie Eilish, because Billie Eilish is an alternative person. She's like Avril Lavigne now. Exactly. But the
That was a
crazy
good one.
thing
That was a
is,
good
she
one.
used alternative aesthetics the entire
To
time.
get to where
She
she
was
was.
doing yes.
The black and green hair is like a
adapted.
trademark. Like that's like, and like I'm not thirsty, right? I'm not thirsty in the slightest, but the you can't help it. Once she came into her own, as far as like her feelings about her body, right? There was a lot. Her content did make a shift, and so if you were observing that, then yes, the content.
I would raise you one better. It's just like you utilize different trends and different thought circles until you get to a point where you don't need to utilize them anymore. And then there are so many people who want to draw from that aesthetic or draw from that thought circle without having to completely commit to it. You know what I mean? That's why Billie Eilish to me is way more mainstream than she was like a long time ago, because like she used that alternative community to build herself to a place, sowed some seeds from like diehard fans, and now she's mainstream. But Jawaso, I want you to finish.
That's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
You look at them people. What them people do is they say, I have a certain amount of privilege, but because I'm underground, I'm going to go to the people that live in the underground. I'm going to operate with those people in the underground, and I'm going to trade them my privilege for their ability in order to use their ability to put myself in a higher position and get really high quality stuff. Then once I get to a certain level, I'm going to let they stuff go, and I'm going to ascend to the place of just pop mainstream.
I'm gonna get right into
the mainstream now.
I'm gonna go right to where them.
But when you look at exactly, but when you look at us, name like one black pop star.
Well, and that's the weird thing about black pop stars, because black, and I don't want to sound fucked up because I still want to get to that method. I still want to get to the method.
We're going
but
to. I'll
the
say
weird thing about black pop stars is like black people are the only people who care about authenticity. And authenticity is not tangible.
All right, can we I will talk about that, and I'll say this is not a rumor, it's not a myth, right? I will say that as a whole, I think the general population of black people do care about authenticity, right? But let's look at Seal. Let's look at fucking Hootie. Like
Seal lost his Seal and Hootie both lost their authenticity once they breached into mainstream. That's why nobody talks about them today.
But it didn't matter though. And then also like no one's concerned with like Michael Jackson. No one was concerned with his authenticity.
Michael Jackson was a next level pop star, but he's only a next level pop star because of his white appeal. Not to disrespect the king of pop or whatever. I don't want to get canceled about you motherfuckers that pretend like Michael Jackson.
Really didn't do much for Mike.
Michael Jackson wasn't on pop radio until he was in the game for 30 years.
Exactly.
True that.
And by then he was lighter than ever.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and that's the thing. Once you get to a certain like, if you rooted yourself in black culture, when you go to the mainstream, you can't get rid of black culture. And the thing that's so smart about the last wave of alternative black people, which is like Childish Gambino and Tyler the Creator and people of that nature, is they realize once I get to the level of mainstream, I gotta be black but maintain the privilege that I have access to in this point. Thus, the white people are going to like me because I'm alternative. If you like me, you don't like the mainstream.
Exactly.
And the black people are going to like you because you represent being able to exist in the mainstream geographically, but not lose your connection to the people. Despite the fact, like, Donald Glover ain't married to a black woman, and Donald Glover don't.
He's not even married.
But the amount of value that he's given to the people, the things that he did to make Black Panther come out, the things that he did for Jordan Peele with the creation of Us,
just to have Miles Morales become a thing.
Yes, another situation.
Like Donald Glover's given so much to us culturally, and Tyler the Creator has transferred so much wealth by using his access in order to fund people like Vince Staples. And now here comes Vince Staples making songs with Billie Eilish. So it all comes full circle. And I say all of that to say that when you look at the Blerd community, there's a ceiling that people hit. And they get their foundation with the people. They make great content. They make some videos that the people like. And then two things happen. First thing happen is the white man comes in. And the white man said, hey, we want to fuel you. Come and work for us. And the white man pays them a very small amount, but he gives them a whole bunch of fans. Problem is, these fans ain't black. So these fans is going to give them numbers, but they're not going to give them support. So what you end up with on the internet oftentimes, especially with like our black content creators, you got a lot of numbers with a very small amount of influence and even less money. And because these people ain't educated and they ain't got teams and their clout has attracted people that don't care about them, not only can they not trust people, but they can't even build teams or join teams that can maximize the access or influence that they might supposedly have. So you have this false value that exists.
Right.
And when
you've inflated your entire image.
Exactly, because you've been swimming in this aquarium. Like, once you hit that wall, like, you're going to find, oh, there are barriers and walls here. And if I want to exit this, I'm going to then lessen myself. Because this is where the influence is. And if I exit this, I'm no longer a part of this community. Like, or if I extend myself outside of this, like, suddenly the push is gone. And that is wild. That, like, it's almost like a weird spider web that people work themselves into. Because we had the decision to pivot, like, I think earlier this year, because it got
a little later towards the end of the year last year.
Yeah. Exactly. It was just a situation where we kept hitting this, not necessarily wall, but it was like this obstacle. It was like, hold on, when are we ever going to get this stuff out of here? Right? We're talking to all these people and it's really good and we're building these relationships and all of these individuals are cool, right? But it's like, how are we going to, because we have to level up, because if this shit don't work, we just broke, nigga. Like what are we gonna do? We put too much like time and effort into this situation, and if it fails, like, cool, but like, let it fail because it had to, not because we decided to fucking like stay in a lane, right, that we didn't need to continue to occupy. So like, when did you personally feel like I know that you mentioned that you made the exit, you're planning
I wanted him to finish his notion on getting into like, okay, this is it, close is where we need to be, sell the clothes, and then we'll see what happens after we sell the clothes. But I don't know
way before, when he asked you about whether or not you actually had the product on hand when you reached out to these individuals, that's kind of where we were kind of going from there. So you obviously you nutted up and you said, hey, look, I can provide this, right? Like, you obviously, like, that's how they do it, because like they'll say, hey, look, I can deliver this product, knowing that they don't actually have the product currently, but they're confident in their abilities to make said product.
Yeah, Printful will be delivering stuff in 2 weeks. I love Printful. Printify is better and cheaper, but at the time, Printful was doing what needed to be done. And what I realized, though, was that the people that I was reaching out to ain't care about business. And the artists that I was reaching out to ain't care about business. And they ain't see developing their business ability as a necessary skill to develop. So I was like the only person for a long time that I interacted with that wasn't a charlatan that developed business. Because I tried many times to like invest in other people, and it ain't work out. Either one, because they didn't have the skill that I needed, or two, because their estimation of me was outside of the bounds of the one job that I needed them to do. And so like, here's like an example is there's a major company that exists in our space. And so I reached out to this major company and I was like, hey, major company, y'all are like huge in the Blerds space and I need more eyes. So like, how can I get promotion for y'all? And they were like, we like your energy, young man. In addition to this one fee that we charge in order to get people promotion, we want to offer you mentorship. And my dumb self was like, well, I need elders that can tell me what to do to get to a higher position. So I'm going to slide you this bread. So I slid them the bread. These people ain't give me promotion. They gave me phone calls. And so I'm listening to them in the phone calls. And they telling me things I already heard Gary Vee say. So
there you go.
I'm
glad you said that too. Sir. I'm so glad you said that. Because we just had a conversation about like the significance of a man like Gary Vee. It was just like, at the end of the day, everybody's gonna try to sell you snake oil. So like,
And what's wild is Gary V's out here saying the shit for free, right? He's just out here giving it up. And so it's there now. And what's fantastic about that, right? Even if people don't agree, is that it definitely exposes the niggas that are out here just like, nah, man, slide me this cool 50. And then after that, once you hit the premium style, you can slide me a cool $200. And then we'll just continue a $25 a month kind of situation. And we'll provide you with all of this great information. Get up and wash your ass. Post as much as possible. Text as many people. It's just the same fucking recycled shit. Put the work in. Fucking get up and fucking stop being
more.
Yeah,
more onto the false narrative, like not the narrative, but like the false mentorship that these guys offered you.
Yes, but the problem, which I came to understand, because what I thought, because I was using Facebook ads. The way Facebook ads is, I put in $5, I make.
I'm familiar.
I put in $100, I make 20 sales. So like I was like, all right, cool. I like Facebook ads. So if I go directly to the people that got all of the customers that I need, I should make even more sales. And that ain't happened. And at first I was tight because I was like, I gave y'all thousands of dollars and I don't have thousands of dollars. Y'all robbed me. But it's not that they robbed me. It is that, number one, I didn't do a good job of communicating what I needed from them specifically. And because I assumed they had more experience than me, I allowed them to tell them to do things that I didn't want them to do because I was trying to be humble instead of sitting down with myself and understanding what I needed because I'm paying them. And it's a teacher's job to teach you. And if you're not getting no benefits out the teacher, it's not their fault. It's your fault for not asking better questions. So then the second thing came along. And the second thing that happened was that I was like, all right, so I've paid you now. Where's the promotion? They were like, we'd love to promote you, but your website's not looking too good. You need a more polished website. We can make you a website. And I was like, all right, your website then. It took maybe 5-6 months to get the website. So I done remade my entire website. I can't find certain stuff on my own website no more.
That's
and
shitty.
I done dropped another sum of bread. No, it's okay because I still ain't learned the lesson. Because I asked them even because they asked me. Yeah, I still ain't learned the lesson.
That's beautiful. I fuck with the fact that you said that because it's like so many people get wrapped up in like I'm getting fucked. It's like, yeah, you're getting fucked, but like, hey, bro, you ain't learned it yet. Yeah. So it just is what it is. But please.
Yeah. And so the 6th month of paying these people and I ain't getting no money. And I'm being asked favors. They're like, can you plug us in with these influencers? And can you make sure that we have access to these kinds of things? What's some information that you think would be good for us to know? And I'm giving up these people information. And I'm realizing though that because they trust me enough to ask me for things, that the people in their network can see that I'm being asked things by them. So because they're perceived at a higher level than me, but they're asking me for stuff, I'm providing them stuff publicly. And thus to the people that are watching them, my value has increased. So because of that, we decided to engage in espionage. And so I went to all of the artists that I liked, and I was like, hey, you wanna come on live and talk? And I started building relationships with the people that they were working with by talking to them. And like off of the love of the conversation and the value that was generated in the conversation, I got connected with a dude in Africa that sells authentic mudcloth fabric. They call it bogolan. I got connected with a martial artist that also has an amazing manga. And this man drew his style is like seinen. Like he has like an authentic seinen style, and his characters have lots. It's freaking amazing. His name's Drama Manga. He writes Underground for Saturday AM, and he's freaking dope. And he just drew his character wearing like a melon, like the crimson and cream melanin shirt, and all that was just off the love of having the conversation. So I realized it's not that Saturday AM took money from me. It was that I wasn't doing a good job of communicating what I needed from them. And once I figured out that their value was in my connection to them peripherally in the community they'd already developed, and it wasn't their job to like make sure that people bought my stuff, I was able to use my connection to them in order to
you were able to pivot entirely off of what you thought they were supposed to give you.
Exactly. Real quick, earlier I noticed some real quick thing. earlier you mentioned a large company in our space, right? And then just a moment ago,
Yes.
You said the
actually-
name, but
yeah,
I
I'm
don't
about to
think
say, you
he
actually
realized he
said
said
the
the
name.
name.
And so I was gonna say,
I mean,
we edit the
they got
podcast.
that.
We
No,
edit
they
the
got that
podcast.
outside money now. It's okay. Cause here's the thing. That's what you're supposed to like.
That's what
Cause
you're supposed
we
to
used
do.
to go
That's what's
hard on.
true.
Yeah, cause we used to go hard on Black Sands on the live all the time. Cause what this man said, we making a home for Black independent creators, and if you a Black person and you want to voice act, you better be a Patreon supporter. And this man was dead serious, and so he sold the idea of participating in his project to his Patreon supporters, and because of that, he allowed the people to invest in him. And honestly, he did let the people that were Patreon supporters cast the voice act. So like he ain't lie about that. And he said, we're going to use your money to make an anime. And although the anime wasn't 2D and he spent a lot of time not making the 2D anime, he ultimately gave the people 3D. And so he's given the people the product
Yeah,
he said
he's
he was
given
going
the
to
value.
give. He just gave it in a way that we didn't expect. And we saw the game and we watched him explain it in front of us. And we see how it played out. Because initially, when this man made the app, he was on live and he was telling us like, yeah, we made the app because it was like so-and-so company just got bought out by this company in Korea. And this company in Korea is buying up all of these webtoon apps. So we want to get bought out by this company in Korea so that we can have millions of dollars to plug into our next projects. And like he laid the game out straight for us because
it's true. Manhwa got huge
Yeah,
and is still getting huge. Like there's a lot of things coming out of Korea that are exploding, and that's really good advice. Like that's wild.
And everything that he did, he built onto itself. So he gave you the comic book, which led to the YouTube stuff, which led to the social media content, which led to the 3D animated stuff, and like the 3D animated advertisements that he did. He worked with a dude named Caleb. Caleb is associated with a lot of them higher up Blerd people, but he's also super good at visual effects, and he's really good at making these really cool story concepts and stuff. And so like we went out to North Carolina and beat him and see like how he does his like visual effects process. And we traded him martial arts in exchange for VFX. And it was a really cool experience to see like someone else in the space of doing creative things entrepreneurially and what his tactics were. And but the thing that happens once you get to a certain point is that if you ain't got a team to back you, you're gonna burn yourself out. And so as a martial team, being the martial artist that we are, or like me having the artist that I have with me, if we need a project done, I can say, here's the budget, who's interested, this is the deadline. If you do a bad job, I'm going to these other people. And what happens, happens. But when you gotta drink your kombucha and work until the job is done.
You're the only one. You're the only person in this one-man media team.
That's something that we experience here at the pod all the time. I mean, there's two of us, right? But like there are times when we're indisposed and a lot of the workload loads on like that nigga, like dead ass. Like a lot of the workload ends up like right there with him because he has that disciplined mindset to continue to push that. But I see exactly what you mean. Building a team of resources, right? Instead of going at it like Batman and Robin, like, you know, building a Justice League, it comes in handy for moments where you gotta like deal with niggas like Darkseid, because I'm sorry, but like a fucking bola and a goddamn grappling gun ain't doing much to deal with that. And when it comes to like financial issues and problems like that in the community, I certainly understand what it's like to just say, hey, look, squad, either like get this done, right? Or I'm gonna fucking outsource. I'm calling in other squads. I'm hitting Teen Titans, everybody fucking assemble, let's go. So like in developing that, you kind of explained how you developed the fucking group of resources, right? But like, how do you get people or judge the character of individuals to say like, hey, when I say this, like, yo, like it needs to happen, this is the deadline. Like, how do you like find people with that character to work with? Like, is it just consistent building of relationships, or like you just got that insight?
Or is it worse, trial and error?
That's always
you test everybody
goddamn right. You
so for example, when you look at the way that Saturday AM operates, when you like look at like the products they promote, number 1, Apple Black, number 2, Soul Beat, number 3, Saigami, number 4, Hammer, number 5, Oblivion Rouge, and then everything else is after that. All them other names that you get is after that.
Yeah.
Number 1, Apple Black, that's white manga. That's the king. He's been here since the beginning. He was teaching people how to draw Riley Freeman on YouTube. This man been out here forever. And he's Nigerian, so he got access to all of the things. Like
all the things.
Man is out here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
all the
things
secret things that come with West African
Because
West
them
African,
niggas got
that's
the they got the keys, bro. They got the keys. Working in cell phones, that's what I figured out. I was like, holy shit, because I worked for AT&T for a good stint. And during that time frame, I met so many Nigerian individuals. And that now, at first, for a while there, was a kind of an annoyance. It was like, these niggas showed up and they wanted everything. I was like, what do you mean? Hey, bitch, look, you got a SIM card, but I'm not trying to do all this extra shit. But like, they do. They show up and they're like, hey, this is what I expect. This is what I need to happen. And like, I know you're capable of doing it. So do it.
Because we're not here for culture, nigga. We here to progress.
Exactly. And so I completely.
And that's the difference.
I understood, like, after a while, I was like, okay, good. Like, these niggas just come in, they ready, they want to do business, they ready to work. But they got a lot of keys. The way they flip these phones, the way they do this shit, like, I'm like, oh, that's real business. If I wasn't sitting behind this counter, nigga, I'd be asking you some real questions. Like, but nah, that's wild. So you meet this individual, he's got access to all of these things. And so like now you have this fucking Swiss Army knife of shit that you can utilize and stuff. Like, how do you progress in that from there?
Well, it was more so studying them in their operations. So the reason I bring up Saturday AM is because when it comes to people who have created a collective of diverse artists, and I say diverse not because it's like a fake word for saying black, but because the United States is 22% black people, and although black people are mad influential, there's only so much that we can do, and there's certain ways that we perceive. So what you do as a black person, you get as many people on your team as possible. You see what Ludacris did with Justin Bieber. Ludacris got a hand in Justin Bieber forever now. Jermaine Dupri got hands in people forever now. Wyclef Jean got his hands in Shakira forever now.
And that's crazy that you bring that up because I always model everything I do after the music industry. Yeah. But please continue.
Yeah, because the music industry shows you how to do business with creatives. The art, like the commercial art industry, is disgusting when it comes to the way they treat it. They treat artists. The music industry, people be getting shafted, but at least you a millionaire getting shafted,
and you're a millionaire. And there's so much game to be like gleaned from all of that, right? Like having the fact that there are multiple books spanning back to Motown and shit like that give you the game to say, this is how you don't get fucked. This is how you avoid the dick, because they will try to put it in you, because look, this is the way the game goes. Like big bank take little bank every fucking time. And so if you can plot and process and build your bank.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important to study Saturday AM if you're serious about understanding how to run a company of collective of artists, especially like black artists or diverse artists in space. Because what these people did is they got their foundation set. Because homie that like isn't like the dude that you be seeing on the lives on Saturday AM, that dude's name is Fred. Fred comes from like corporate world or whatever. So he understands like actual business. And then he partnered with like White, and White understands like creation. And also White is influential in creation as well. So you got the businessman, you got the creative man. But the crazy thing is the businessman is a creative. He's actually like, he writes my favorite manga in Saturday, which is called Clock Striker. And so, like, not only is this person a business mind, he's a creative mind as well. But because he understands business administration and how to, like, lead people, they have, like, graphic designers on their team. They have, like, an entire team of people that are capable of making things happen. And these people are multi-talented in a lot of ways as well. So because he has his foundation with his education, his experience, then he has his partnership, which handles the super creative side, and also the influential side. Because, like, white manga is the most creative, or the most influential black anime creator that exists. Marcus Williams is like the dude. He's like the king out of all of the black artists. When it comes to manga specifically, you're not topping white manga because he just did too many things. Homie like at 500,000 on YouTube now, and nobody else has done that. And so you got the creative part, you got the foundation of experience and education with Fred, and then on top of that, you got the team that they built. So their structure is very strong. Because their structure is so strong, and because Fred understands how to operate in corporate America, they be doing deals with companies. I draw every day on an app called Clip Studio. Saturday AM got a deal with Clip Studio. They got deals with companies. And because they got deals with companies, they don't need black people to love them. Because everybody on my live be telling me that I want to support Saturday AM, but ain't no black people in it. They be like, they got like 3 black people in it. It's a black magazine. And although I understand their point, they don't need it. They literally don't need the blurred community to sustain themselves because they got their own community. And that's what made me realize you don't need the blurred community to sustain you.
Need
However,
a community.
When you have a hand in the blurred community and when you've planted seeds in the blurred community, people will be doing dope things, and those people that are doing dope things are be connected to you. So you can just stay with the people that are connected to you, and those people will bring you other people that bring you value.
I see. So like in which case, if you, like you just said, plant seeds in the blurred community, right? As those seeds grow, they will become, just like you said way earlier, more useful to you later on because they're still participating in the blurred community. They're still building relationships there. And through cross-pollination, these individuals are also participating in your culture as well. That's, again, big game. Motherfuckers, hey, y'all better be listening. Hey, token family, y'all niggas be to have to you pad and pen, goddammit, pad and pen. Sit down and take some fucking notes because honestly, there are so many of us out here that are looking to try to build brands, that are looking to try to extend themselves outside of cog in the wheel status, right? And these are the types of things that you have to be ready to think about because it is very easy to get lost in the followership, lost in this idle mind state of like, you know, hey, look, the followers are coming as they come. Like, you know, I'm important in this space, yada, yada. But there are so many other like ways to expand and grow outside of this that will actually end up not just benefiting you, but putting money in your pocket, which is the end goal for most of us. We need to eat. We need to pay these bills. And these are the things that you have to be focused on in order to do so. So like, yo, not to interrupt you or anything like that, but you know, every now and then I gotta like, yo, give it up to the tokens.
Hey, you absolutely right, and thank you for translating for the people because I don't.
Nigga, this is clear as motherfucker. This is clear as day.
Too much concept sometimes.
No.
This is clear as day.
I can definitely tell that you've sat and thought about this and experienced this in real time. So it's like the weird thing about like when you're a content creator or you're like a business person in this space that is for content creators.
Yes,
it's like I don't have time to simplify this anymore. I don't care to simplify this anymore. I need to get us up here. And if you keep asking me to fucking explain things, I'm not going to be like, you're going to get left behind.
How can I innovate when all you're asking me to do is explain the past? Like, I completely get that. Like, why would you absolutely you should ask questions. Like say you're in a master class, you're sitting down and you're listening, you're getting information, ask questions for sure. But like, the end goal for you being there is to gather information, check your tactics versus what they're putting out there, and then try to grow. That is what we're all like. I hope we're all trying to do. That should be the progression, like progress. So you should be looking for that. But
it's a fact. Y'all want to go into night skins mode now?
I was actually gonna say,
last thing I wanted to ask you, like last things, right? Because I think like, okay, I get the entire business mindset behind it all. I get the entire like macro level of what you're trying to accomplish. Brick and mortar shit, because I just know that there are people who are going to see your name and they're going to be like, okay, I want to know how this nigga did it. How do you print the t-shirts? How do you get it out there? Who hosts your website?
I use Shopify. So Shopify is a platform that allows you to sell stuff online. My Shopify integrations are primarily Print4 and Printify, which are print-on-demand t-shirt solutions. So as soon as somebody buys something, goes to the print shop prints it out, generally get it within 2 weeks. And if you don't, that's because it's coming from China because you decided it was a good idea to put a bomber jacket online, despite the fact you ain't never seen anybody actually physically wearing it. Secondarily, I use services like UpPromote, which allows me to do affiliate marketing. I use Automizely, which allows me to do email marketing. And now Shopify has a lot of good marketing integrations where Shopify automatically has email integrations and its retargeting integrations as well. And then I also have Facebook and Instagram integrations so that I can get bonuses off of reposting people's reels. And I have access to Facebook ads. But really what you want out of Facebook is the targeted demographic, because then anybody that likes anime, which is 90 million or 132 million people in America, you can tap into that. But what you don't want to do, you never want to go straight to anime people. That's stupid. Is what you do, especially if you're black. You retarget the tsunami, and you retarget to the Boondocks, and you retarget to Nick at Night, because those are the demographics that got
I'm
the bread.
so glad you said that, because when I first started doing Facebook ads, I was like, why the fuck am I not getting the reception I want?
Exactly.
But the common denominator in all black content is always the Boondocks and always Toonami. So I appreciate you for saying that. I appreciate you for skipping right over it, like not mystifying it and making it sexy.
Yes, and that nigga gave it to his full-on blast. I was like, oh, yes, this nigga knows. I was like, hey, look, this is the formula. Here you go. Here's the grocery list, nigga. Go grab it.
Okay.
The hardest part is to get up and do it. Like, even for me, I hate TikTok, so I don't post a TikTok. Probably could have gone. I've gone viral once on TikTok on accident for swinging a sword and a piece of bamboo. I was out here actually making curated content on a daily basis. Probably have a lot of interesting things. But personally, I don't like TikTok. So I don't use it.
Me neither. It's not.
We use TikTok now, but like originally, like we stopped prioritizing going viral and was just like, look, nigga, if you got a clip for the fucking episode,
put it out there.
For the episode out there. If it does, it's gonna do what it does. I don't care.
And what's
about
fucked
a
up?
TikTok
What's
audience.
so fucked up is that and we don't care about the TikTok audience, but it's the biggest goddamn platform for us. Like. We're almost at 2K on TikTok, and I'm like,
it's also the platform that does not convert, so I don't give a shit. Like you can see whatever the fuck somebody does on TikTok and be like, all right, cool, whatever, you did that on TikTok. Moving on.
Good job. And that is the fucking wildest thing. Like, it's just like, oh wow, lots of participation, no real like reward.
Yeah, nobody's going to your website. So
Instagram,
it's all kids. So go to Instagram and go to Facebook, nigga. That's where I've always seen the best conversion.
Yep.
So now that that's been said, I appreciate you for fucking bringing that on. You've given the people the keys to the cuffs, and you've done even more.
Absolutely.
Thank you, my nigga.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the night skins.
This has been a full masterclass.
Let's talk about the fucking night skins.
Yo, let's get into it. Because what I'll say is this, right? You work in, like, because of the awesome industry that you kind of laid out for all of us, right? You spend a lot of time with creators, right? And we talk about the blackifying of characters. You're not into that, which is already dope, especially for that nigga. He loves that shit. He's like, hey, look, we are not about creating we're not trying to spin this shit. We have our own original shit that we should be motherfucking exemplifying and not just like blackifying these Japanese niggas. But I want to know, when it comes to the night skin situation, like, right, do you respect the fact that it's a suplex reverse, right, of a slur? Is that something that you find like some kind of admiration in, any pride for the culture in that, or nah?
Definitely not. But Tony Weaver Jr. is a genius because this man, Tony Weaver Jr., people forget, this man figured out how to get his own original graphic novel into public schools. And he's been selling his books to public schools. So this man don't really got to worry about nothing. He be making stuff because he care about the people.
Okay.
Because of that, he be tossing content culturally into the ether. And this happened to be one of many that like went off and actually led to a lot of other cool things. But if you want to ride the Night Skins wave, it's important to utilize originality, because this is what happens. If you sell Black Dragon Ball characters and you get known for drawing Black Dragon Ball characters, the second that you want to make your own manga, ain't nobody, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. There is a man that is responsible. I didn't even know this man was black. I thought he was like one of them Asians that be breakdancing and having a really nice car that can't nobody in the neighborhood afford, or if they did, it would get broken into. But this is a whole black man from like California or something. And this man is the man who popularized like the Gucci bucket hat Master Roshi and Goku with like 19 Cuban chains. It's this man. So this is a black man that got famous for drawing Dragon Ball characters with like the drip. Yeah. And then this man, so he got like hundreds of thousands of followers from drawing all these Dragon Ball characters. This man decided to make his own clothing company first. Got like maybe 10,000, as opposed of the hundreds of thousands of fans he got, maybe 10,000, which is cool. This man released his own manga with black characters. Hundreds of thousands of followers. This person got 2,400 followers. Minimal comments.
That's fucked up.
He trained his audience to only expect the Dragon Ball stuff. So now he gotta go through all the work of building a whole fan base to support his original work, when he could have just built a fan base to support his original work in the first place. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Nicholas Draper Ivy, what Nicholas Draper Ivy did. This man was pumping his original stuff through, and he was like, well, since you've shown so much love to my original stuff, here's some fan art. And because the people were already fans of him, and then he dropped the fan art, they boosted the fan art. And the fan art is what got him into interesting position. Now this man is drawing static for DC.
Shit.
That's fantastic.
But I see where the move is, right? Like, it's like, absolutely, you want to build around yourself, right? You want to present to everybody immediately, hey, this is the type of content that I want. This is what I'm looking for. This is who the fuck I am, right? And then after that, right? After people have absorbed the personality or what you're looking for, your style in a way, then you can go and say like, hey, look, I'm also into this, or like, hey, I'm also about this. But it doesn't become about the fact that, it's this. Holy shit, it's Bulma with a goddamn set of dreads and she's got dark skin. That's incredible, right? It's more along the lines of, holy shit, look at this shit that this person I love drew. Like, holy fuck. I love the fuck out of that thought process and premise. I want to know, how do you feel like a podcaster, right, can tap into that same situation? Because the thing is that, like, I mean, I guess absolutely you can dig deep into the power scaling shit. You can do that kind of thing. But like, where do you think that line is? Because you're an expert at it.
I need to know what he's thinking.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to know.
I need to know.
Because like the thing is, you're about utilizing people's potential as much as possible, finding out where their content goes. And so you think that the podcaster is like the sensory ninja of the of the community, right? They gather the information. They're the network of motherfuckers. So
deeper than just like anime, right?
You know,
I
make jokes like
a podcast. I know, but like a podcaster is more likely to be like, I have to expound on this. I have to make this bigger than what the fuck was said. I have to create a topic around this, right?
Yeah.
So I gotta know. What the fuck was going on? What's going on there, bro?
It ultimately comes down to points of intersection. So if you want to do like comics, you make the point of intersection something that only y'all can talk about that intersects with comics. So like, for example, the reason why I love the live, especially why I love having like people like United and people like the people from Hot Girl Anime and other people on the live, is because our brains go in very interesting directions. So like my favorite moment that we ever had in a podcast, me and United Black Heroes, we had a secret podcast that was Patreon exclusive because we was talking recklessly on there.
All right.
And we once had a conversation about eating appa. Because United be eating bison. So,
yo, that's fucking fly.
Appa probably delicious.
Yo, appa probably wagyu.
We spent 20 minutes trying to break down like the different cuts of meat that apple would be and how long an apple would last.
Appa hog maw nigga would make so many black eyed peas and green beans.
Last thing you eat. I mean, you can stretch appa hog maw.
What I go? I went immediately to soul food about eating appa, nigga. Like, what did tail taste like?
You can probably have oxtail. Oxtail probably
it's a work muscle. It's a work
way
muscle.
Better than oxtail.
But it's a work muscle. So is it like a situation? We don't sell work muscles.
Well, like, he flies with the work muscle. Nah, it'd probably be some shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like they would sell that shit like chuck roast. They'd be like, this is a sky bison.
Yeah, the appa tail probably not the greatest.
Nigga, that's fucking gold, bro. I would pay
because it's not tender.
Appa
tail would not be tender.
No, not at all. You would have to put that with shit. That's stew. That's stew meat. But I guarantee you that underbelly be fucking soft in a bitch. Like,
exactly, and only like people like us could have that kind of a conversation. Like it's that intersection between black, like soul food,
and
appa.
Yeah, the intersection is anime and soul food.
I see.
Yeah,
and knowing enough about it to make it a conversation.
Exactly. These incels on YouTube been talking about power scaling and Naruto characters that should have fought each other for 10 years straight.
Yes, sir.
It just is what it is.
We're talking about Might Guy with Byakugan.
Yes, it's like
what with the Sharingan.
Well, what's that really like?
What's it really? Break it down, man. Okay, so look, man, the Hyuga village, right, has been separated for so many years between the Blerds clan.
As much as I understand what you're saying here, like that doesn't, because what you asked originally was like, okay, like, do you believe that the night skin thing is empowering toward the community, right? I personally don't believe it's empowering to the community long term. I think that we're gonna eat off of it for the first 3 months, and then after that, some white dude is gonna get involved, and we're gonna be very upset because he's making money off of it, and then it's dead.
I think a white dude.
That's my own personal belief. Like, you know, like
That already happened.
I was gonna say, I think a white dude is involved. Like, wait, so hold on, wait. So you got inside information? I love this shit.
The name already got took, and because don't nobody really be copyrighting that in our culture, and that's why Lil Wayne ain't being paid for the word bling right now. Exactly. Like, I got a show about rich Chinese billionaires running around doing things in life called Bling Empire, and Lil Wayne not getting a check because he ain't want to copyright the word bling.
Lil Wayne deserves a check for bling.
Yes, he does. Bling.
He made the word, so he deserves the check. But I don't think that we prioritize art so much in our communities, and we prioritize, quote, authenticity so much in our communities that we don't stop and be like, okay, let's monetize what the fuck we just came up with. Let's create the economy behind what the fuck we came up with and get paid forever for it. You know what I mean? It ends up just getting to whoever. So it's not that I'm anti-night skin. I'm not anti-night skin, but the second that you let that shit get to the fucking mainstream, or like the second you let that shit get to to them, it's over. We don't have it.
That's where it get tricky. If you don't want to rely on them, who going to be cutting the check or who going to be maintaining the check? Because the tricky thing is like people at the top of the mountain. I don't care no more. I'm banned from DreamCon anyway. So the people at the top of the mountain is like RDC and Vader and all that. Like, and the people at the top of the mountain. Who at the top of the mountain?
You're speaking real shit.
At the top of the
RDC, Vader, Griffey. I think Griffey's up there. He just got like he ran into some bullshit.
Griffey's canceled. First of all, like let's not do that. Griffey's canceled.
Griffey is
but
still
Griffey
doing his shit,
Griffey deserves.
He deserves that fucking Caleb. Caleb's another nigga. He's in that like Corey. Like
Caleb, no comment. But Caleb is my least favorite of all them niggas. But go on.
I fuck with Caleb, but like that's like.
Yeah.
But,
I'm not trying to
but
shit
you're
on the
exactly right. You're exactly right. People at the top of the mountain, I like RDC's eating off of Asian kids like that. Like I see it. Like
right. But also like, even though RDC's eating, who is eating off of RDC? Who is RDC spreading the love to on top of that? Is it RDC eating or is it like whatever? But anyway, my bad. I'm not trying to get on there. I'm not trying to be the anti-RDC nigga.
Because I do watch their content. I love them shit.
It's okay. Caleb City is the only one of them that I really like. But this go back to this go in two directions. Yes. But this go in terms of like I like his content. I don't like the rest of it.
He's funny. I think he makes the best skits.
He does. Yes.
That nigga eats. Yeah, I enjoy his existence. All of them other people. But again, I don't like derivative content, and they be making derivative content, and that's what gets us to the point. Because holiday content is derivative. If they make something original, who want to support them?
It is true. It is true. Just like you said earlier with artists like pimping the fan art, that was something that they ate off. Like, what if people think anime is real? That was one of their biggest things. And now all they do really is like, all their back and forth episodes, which I thought was a really good concept. I was like, this could be really cool. It ends up just being the same old like YouTuber from fucking 10 years ago talking about power scaling and different shit like that. But I'm like, you niggas probably have varied opinions that could be worthwhile to the community, but because of where you guys are at, this is what you're talking about. Anime House. Anime House is a fun skit. I love that shit. It's a fun series. But like they're now pigeonholed into making fucking Anime House for the next 5 years. Like,
and that's the thing that bothers me, because like Anime House is like, okay, yes, this is a good quote. This is a quote good video, but nobody is going to derive anything from what you're making on Anime House. The only thing you're gonna get is the views. The money from the views is the only thing you're gonna get, and after that, it's dead, bro. Yeah. At least with Caleb, and I don't like Caleb City only because I don't like quote corniness, right? But at least Caleb City is making shit that isn't reliant on another property.
It's true. Even his video game even his video game skits do not have like, or they're not pandering directly to.
They're about the genre and not the fucking thing
like
itself.
particular thing. It's like, oh, he made 5 Elden Ring skits. Like one person that I watch and I study, I like to watch the way his content rolls is Afro Sinju. Because that nigga got like real popular on Naruto shit. That was his thing. He participated in tournaments. It was a big deal. That made sense, right? And now that he's pivoted to Mugen stuff, he's done like full on gameplays. Like he has a community that he's built, and he doesn't have to do the Naruto thing anymore, even though it's in his name. Like that nigga could drop. Hell, in the last few months, he's dropped more Elden Ring videos than he's dropped Naruto anything. And he's still getting the same like styles of support. And I feel like that's an example of an individual putting their personality so far forward that like even though they are giving it up like with this particular brand or this particular IP, that they're able to expand. And I think that some people are just special like that. I don't know.
Exactly, and that's what's beautiful about especially Afro Sinju and Caleb is that they figured out a way to take a formula and use such a broad concept, but so that people can relate to that broad concept, but they use their distinct personality so that they are the same no matter what point on the spectrum.
I got you. Doesn't matter what the fuck we're talking about. I'm always going to be Caleb, or I'm always going to be Afro Syndrome. Yeah. That makes perfect sense.
Exactly.
That makes perfect
and so the thing with all the other people, and the other people, like they're the ideal that people push towards. Yeah. And initially it used to make me frustrated because how I felt initially was I was like, well, they getting all these millions of views and they got all this money, they got all these white women in the videos and they live in the big houses. Why the heck are they not giving money to black artists? Like, why are they not? But then I realized like it's not their fault that they not giving money to black artists and making their own original manga and using their money to make original anime. It's our fault as black artists for not being able to provide enough value to them to make them feel like it's a necessity to do that. So when I heard the RDC was coming out with a manga, I was like, finally,
this is what you niggas started off. Like when you started the fucking channel, right? You guys were like making like little manga episodes. Like you were doing fucking red stories that you guys have written. And I was like, holy shit, this is all original. And then just like you said, they started making this derivative content. It fucking blew the shit up. And this is what they were at. And it's nice to hear that they are at the point where they are now making original content. And I really hope that it succeeds because that could be a really great trajectory for those individuals. Like this could be a great movement for black culture because one, they're from Texas. I'm from Texas. It's just kind of a pride thing for me to see like them niggas eat because anytime you see somebody from your region or your area, like fucking prosper.
Yeah, you make that shit real.
It becomes super real, it becomes attainable, and that's always nice for young niggas to see. Like, but
and they worked really hard.
Yes, absolutely.
To get to this position.
I hate seeing people work really hard to get something that they can't fucking keep. Ooh. That's always going to be something that's going to fucking bother me. It's like, yes, you built this, but how much of this are you going to be able to take with you when the wave is done?
Yeah. Now,
they're not checking for you.
Which leads me to a question for you, Joe. Also, like, and obviously, I believe in you fully that you'll be able to completely maintain and continue this and grow it. Absolutely. But in your process, bro, like, how are you like maintaining this like yourself? Like, is it constant work? Is it examining other like mediums and trying to find different shit? Like, where is the fuel for this fire? Where's the battery coming from, bro?
Well, that's why I'm leaving the Blerd community, because I did everything that I could do for the person that I am here. I'm not going to be the artist that like draws a viral piece. I'm not going to be the person that makes a viral comedy video. But I can develop skills where when people need me, they reach out to me. Like, for example, one of the best artists on the website, her name's like Madness. She out in Chicago. There was an event they was having in Chicago, and she was like, Lee, it's time for you to help me vent. So I took a plane out to Chicago to come and help her vend at an event. And I bought the inventory for that event so that she would have stuff to sell. And we dang near sold out. We sold out of 80% of the stuff.
Did you buy that inventory just to break even, or did you buy that inventory like
with excess? I was like, basically, like, did you from your own business, did you have excess enough to just go through and buy it and just say, hey, look, this is a business.
It's not even
expense.
about excess. It's just like, look, do I believe in this product enough to be like, okay, look, I believe you're gonna make this money back. Let me put the fucking shit forward so you feel like you made enough.
I wanted to prove the point that you were the author of your own destiny, because artists especially can often feel like they're not doing enough, or they don't have access to certain things, or only if I had this influencer or this equipment, I would be in a better position. And so the way that I had it up was I gave her 50% of the profits from the inventory that was sold, and she allowed me to like sleep in her home. And so
that's fair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed. I was about to say, like, you flew out there and you needed a spot. Like, I get that. Like, holy.
That whole thing earlier of testing people on a spectrum, that's why that's so important. Because, for example, when Madness first came, she was skeptical, like a lot of artists, when she saw the website. So she went to Crumbs Art and she was like, Crumbs Art, you making money? And he was like, yeah. She was like, oh, okay. Guess I'll come over and talk to you.
No, Token got Crumbs Art money on right now, so go on.
A lot of people do, and I'm gonna get to Crumbs Art in a second. But so after that, Madness decided to come. So after Madness decided to come, the thing that makes Madness special is that she's a woman.
Yes.
And there's not that many women artists, in case y'all can't tell. And even more so, she engages with her people in a manner where she has a bond with her follower base. And so because of that, and her follower base is also women, so they push her content hard. So a couple of years ago, we had these Madness bikinis. It was like the Ahegao face bikinis, like a pattern. And greatness
it was probably fresh.
Yes, indeed.
Indeed. So the first test was like, let's make these t-shirts and see if you're willing to push your own content. And she did. And then the second was, well, all right, since you're willing to push your own content, I'll make specialty items for you. And she pushed the specialty items. She bought her own inventory. She got her own influencers. She had them make posts and she posted them. And although like the posts weren't perfectly structured for social media, they ain't have to be, because she made them. And more importantly, she kept them so they could be used later for compilations or anything else of that nature.
Yeah.
And so we were able to cycle that into more content, and we kept being able to upgrade every piece of the marketing. So now that you're at a point where I know that you'll invest in yourself, I know that you'll take the time to actually make good content, I know that you'll find the people that can boost your content, and I know that you like care, which is very important. And you've been paid, so you can trust me that like I'll pay you when I do work with you.
Right.
So
it wasn't spectrum of all things that needed to be met. Like, okay, you're gonna invest in yourself, you're gonna do everything that you need to do, and you know for a fact that I'm gonna be good by my word. Progresses the fucking product.
That's because of her being able to trust me to an extent, me being able to trust her to an extent, and then her coming to the live and blessing the live and dropping gems on the people and joining us in this joke. She has a perfect Dora impression, by the way.
Oh, word!
Masterful.
Word!
Yes.
I gotta hear it. I gotta check it out.
I got it saved. I'm gonna post it in the reel soon.
Please do.
And so having experiences like this, it built enough of a foundation of trust where like she was able to like I was able to trust that if I invested in inventory for her, that she'd be able to sell it, and she was able to trust in me that like I would be able to sleep in her home and like assist her in movements. And so we went there, we accomplished the mission, went to the event, the Black Nerd like party event as well. Made like $1,000 one day.
Yeah.
Off of, like posters and T-shirts.
Yeah.
Paid bills. I recouped the bread in order to get back home, and it was a satisfactory mission. So I say all those things to say that when you have that trust established with an artist, that the artist is going to do what they do, and also because Madness also like draws a lot of fan art, but again because she got that connection with her people. Her people understand that she is the foundation of the fan art,
core of
not whatever she's drawing. Exactly, and that's
it's
also
not about what I'm doing;
art.
it's about me.
Exactly, and similarly, Crumbs Art's style is what sets him apart. It's the fact that he draws eyes the way that he does and lips the way that he does, and his technique with Copic shading, and the fact that when he does his line art, he's using colored markers, which is why when you like zoom in on his stuff, you don't know. There's not a giant black outline on stuff because he's using skin tone markers in order to get like a soft shaded look. Most people don't even draw Copic. Most people be drawing with iPads now. Taking that time shows the level of care that he as an artist has.
See, I didn't know that he was using Copic markets for everything. Like, our younger brother is doing art. Like, he's doing art now, and he's trying to like take it more serious. And he 150,000% like, I don't want to use the word analog, but he prefers like drawing the actual thing before he puts it like on a tablet or an iPad. So it's so crazy to see like how that progression goes. And I think that you poured into those artist communities more so than like other people. You know what I mean? Like, you see those designs on t-shirts, you see those designs like in posts, and just like, even if somebody talks about the shirt they got from you, you still go in there and like, oh, you like the Crumbs Art t-shirt, or you like the Crumbs Art fucking hoodie.
I was gonna say this when it came to like putting people out there and putting people on, like the fact that you're consistent with like trying to make sure that people who get credit, so people who need credit get credit, is incredible, because sometimes people don't. Some people will ride the wave of other people's appreciation of people's art and shit, and not necessarily give up like that sauce to that information, right? But everything you do, as far as like even this, like this is a collab. Yeah, you didn't actually personally. I say this like for the people that aren't actually watching like the YouTube thing. The hoodie that I have on, or the Demon Slayer hoodie that I have on, I purchased absolutely from his website, right? But this is a collaboration with another artist, correct?
Which is Crumbs Art, yeah.
Crumbs Art, exactly. And so when you put that stuff out there, it's like, hey, look, this person is where like you're eating off of, like they're eating off of this, and you're eating as well. That shit like is muy importante.
If artists can understand, like, if artists can understand that the way that you program people to receive your art is how your art outlives you and how your art pays for itself. So, like, for example, don't nobody know that I can draw. People be like, oh, you can draw. He'll be commissioning me just because I talk about art. Like, nobody knows what the heck I draw like, because I don't need to be known for my ability to draw. But having an understanding of art allows you, because all the hardest part of art when you're working with someone else is understanding what they have in their head and how you can turn that into something on a page. Actually drawing things isn't that hard, but translating the idea of creativity from the brain to the hand is what we spend our entire lives learning to do. I literally got headbutted in the mouth 2 months ago because I didn't understand how to properly communicate what I wanted to say.
But that's real. You're like, oh yeah. Nigga did not fuck with how I was talking, so he
headbutted me in the mouth.
At least he was like,
that's real shit, because you were able to dead at like mad respect for just honestly admitting it and saying, hey, look, I was speaking reckless.
We all took L's, and it's not even an L. It's just like, all right, fuck it.
I learned a lesson that day. Like, that was the lesson of the day.
Yeah.
Sometimes headbutts in the mouth.
Yeah, now I've been headbutted before too. I hate being headbutted.
It's not fucking fun. It's like, yo,
I'd rather you fucking roundhouse kick me than fucking headbutt me.
Like, I've been staring at your face this whole time, trying to figure out whether or not you're gonna throw the left or the right, and then you just cocked at your head.
Here comes the head, bitch. Bitch.
And so, hey, real quick, I'm sorry. Hold your point. Keep it in your brain, bro.
I'm holding it.
All right, cool. You mentioned that you were a martial artist, right? And me personally, never any formal training. That nigga has more formal training than I have. But I am super into the martial arts world. I love Bruce Lee. I mean, obviously, if you're in anime, a lot of the times that converts over. I actually like, watching sword forms. I'm very interested in Iaido. I love like Eskrima outside of just Kali, just different like things like that. So like, what are you actually like studying? Do you actually have like a formal teacher that you've ever been through, like, or just very interested in the expression of your body? Like, because that's what I feel like martial arts is like bodily expression. Like,
martial arts is bodily expression. Bruce Lee said that a fight should be like a play, but played seriously. And the coolest thing about him was that he understood that the dividing line between the using your body to express and using your body as a tool, as a weapon. And so I started in a hybrid system called Kupigane and Gumi, which means the art of self-defense. And so they taught me how to like do joint locks and chokes and punches and kicks. And then because I was really into fighting when I was younger.
Yes,
My dad put
sir.
me in jujitsu because he was like, "We're gonna put you in the one art where you can't hit people." I was like, "Dang!" And this little girl choked me out, and I was like, "I refuse to be defeated again." But in jujitsu, you want to get tapped out a bunch of times.
Indeed.
Then after
When
that,
you roll,
can
that's
finish.
just kind of how that goes. Like you will be choked out. You're going to choke somebody out. That is a part of rolling with anybody because that's just what it is. Like I like jujitsu. I like judo. These more ground centered arts because it is like it's a dance like of people's bodies of movements of like where you getting your leverage from different things like that. It's war. It's
a test of instinct and technique.
exactly
On top of that, though.
exactly. Yeah. And so I dig that you
And
went right
learn
straight
to
there.
accept submission.
Yeah,
I feel like why martial artists make such good artists, content creators, period, because they're aware of that moment of like, hey, this is a breaking point and we need to pivot. Like we need to change. We either need to give up or we need to try to switch our strategies because this isn't working.
If they experience challenge, yes. The problem with a lot of arts and artists and teachers is that in an effort to sell the fantasy of becoming invincible, they don't allow people to experience failure outside of their hand. So the master is like the only person that can beat anybody, but you've never seen the master fight anybody on their level.
Indeed.
So all you know is, well, I'm pretty strong, but I'm not as strong as my master. So nobody else can beat me except for my master. You go into the real world and get jacked up, two things happen. One, you go to your master and say, my technique didn't work. Heck did I do wrong? Or second, you say, master, you lied to me and you probably can't fight. I'm going to go into the streets now. Those are going to be your two options.
Yeah.
It's on you as a martial artist. There's a thing there's a thing called the Warrior's Pilgrimage that they do in Japan, which is what Musashi did, where he went around gathering as much information as possible and learning from different artists. Bruce Lee also did this when he traveled America, which is the reason why Bruce Lee, when you see him fight, he uses a lot of Taekwondo stances and he uses a lot of concepts of Filipino martial arts and Western boxing. He doesn't really do that much Wing Chun, especially not in his movies. When he does do it, it's exactly in the event where Wing Chun is most practical. Because with Bruce Lee, his whole thing was absorbing what is useful and rejecting what is useless.
I feel like he's the progenitor
and
of
I
MMA.
agree with that too, because like you absorb a lot of those Korean style like martial arts. A lot of the Korean style martial arts are rooted in street fights.
Yes,
they're rooted in fucking like practical applications of all those fucking fancy kicks. We're doing the fancy kicks,
yeah, but
because
like
they're not expecting the fancy kicks.
And this is like utilizing distance, dealing with the fact that like, oh, we're going to be in streets. Like this is not our traditional style of fighting. Like I fucking dig the fuck out of the fact that like you brought up Bruce Lee because again, I feel like he's the person that mixed martial arts is where it came from, or at least the theory and concept. But I'd take that back. Even Musashi Miyamoto was out here talking about the fact that like you should absorb any form or styles that you come across, like because that is the key essence of combat. Getting rooted in one particular style is, I mean, how he slayed a lot of his opponents. It was just the fact that they were so expectant. They had drilled themselves in these katas, and so like I was like, oh well, my kata my kata will keep up with everything that anybody has. Like this is the ultimate tool book, so everything in this particular martial art is going to carry me through this battle. And that was never Musashi's like thought process. People tell you to read these books, people tell you to examine these figures, right, in order to find their tactics and things like that in business, in content creation, in all of this, right? But a lot of people don't actually realize why this application works as such, right? But I feel like the reason that it does this is because when you step out on your own, when you decide to get that entrepreneurial spirit inside of you, like you're fighting for your life immediately. Like, because you're saying that I am the master of my own destiny and I am going to make this happen, which means that any obstacle that comes to me, I need to be able to subvert. Otherwise, I will perish because my livelihood is gone. My family will not be able to eat and we will starve and die. And so with that mentality going forward, it causes something inside of you, that same fight or flight response that comes from true natural combat. It now applies to day-to-day life, which like I think is a human advantage. I see that that's something that you practice. Is that from martial arts? Do you feel like that's come from the trial and error that you experienced? Like, where do you think that in you, like that is as we've been talking, that's what I've heard. Like, he's like, hey, like I've tried this and like I've experienced this and this is how I pivoted.
Charlemagne the God says that a smart man learns from his own mistakes and a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. And I've done both.
I agree with that. I agree. And I'm glad you brought up Charlemagne, because Charlemagne is one of the biggest influences we have for this particular podcast. But go on.
He was great until he got to the bag. After that, he censored himself tremendously and started repeating himself a lot, which made me very sad. But he's providing for his people, and also he's created so much for the other people that I used to be really frustrated with Michael Jai White because I ain't like none of his movies. But then I realized that if Michael Jai White hadn't done what he did, there are so many stunt people and action stars that wouldn't have a lot of opportunities that he gave them because he lent his name. Same way that Saturday AM inadvertently gave me their name in order to reach out to the artists that were associated with them, that saw me working with them, and so they were able to talk to me. Is the same way that like people that worked with Scott Adkins got into certain doors and got access to certain opportunities. And so it's important to understand how important Michael J. White and Wesley Snipes and Jim Kelly,
everybody,
and Ty-Mac are to like the trajectory of especially Black martial artists.
Say their names, King.
No, I definitely don't feel like Wesley Snipes or fucking Michael J. White get mentioned enough in the stuntman space in general.
Absolutely not. And I'm trying to think if there's another name that I kind of want to say, like you said, Jim Kelly. Goddamn.
The whole point of a stuntman is you're not supposed to know who they are.
Yes,
so like Idris Elba, for example, when he started doing mad action movies and stuff. He's not trained. He's an actor who was trained in stunts, whereas Michael J. White was a martial artist that was trained in acting that started doing action movies. But if you look at like real stuntmen, you got Aaron Toney, who's the Falcon stuntman. You got Guy DeSilva, who's the Black Panther stuntman. These are people like, unless you're really into stunts, unless you really like Corridor Digital, you're not gonna know who these people are. But without them, you don't have half the Black people in the MCU.
You ain't lying, bro. You ain't lying at all.
I do have one other question. The only thing I want to know personally, right? So, in previous interviews you've done, or not even interviews, but previous guest spots you've done, you've talked about how you don't really indulge in anime like that anymore, right? And as a dude who has to engage in real day-to-day life, I get it. I get why you like, I can't fucking do anime every day. I can't do this, that, or the third every day. But like, why is it that you got away from the anime thing, especially considering, quote, anime got you here?
I've studied so much stuff. I've studied Nietzschean psychology, Jungian psychology, different religions from like, Carl Jung's the GOAT, Jordan Peterson out here doing amazing work for the people.
We're gonna get fucking canceled at the episode.
My nigga spoke positively about Jordan Peterson,
but we're gonna get canceled.
Not the white man in the suit.
They're done with us. They're gonna throw us in the garbage after this.
There's no such thing as a female listener anymore. Bye bye, ladies. I know you were on board, and
bye, girls. Gone. We did so much work.
We really appreciated those few black women podcasts that we did. Juaso said no more, so we don't do that no more.
Shout out to you. Shout out to you.
Yeah, all y'all fantastic. Nah, nigga, please continue fucking us. Nah, I'm kidding. You're doing great.
But I had to know, because it was just like when I was 15 years old, I got really, really deep into Jungian personality typing and MBTI, and I just really read into everything that he was like talking about. Gary Vee was a mainstay in my fucking depression when I was like 21 years old.
Yep.
I got through a lot of Jordan Peterson offered a lot of perspective to me when I was like 24.
I was Jordan Peterson adjacent. I never actually like dug too much into the Jordan Peterson thing. I was very much like, oh, well, Joe Rogan, niggas that like Jordan Peterson. I was like, oh, let me get over here and see what's happening. Like,
You know what I mean? I got in.
Sure.
I got really not deep, not really, really deep. But I mean, I also think that I had a healthy enough male base to where I was like, I'm not gonna completely invest in everything the niggas is saying. But that's beside the point. We're talking about anime and why you don't watch it.
Yes. Excuse me.
Yes, that's where it, because initially that's where it all comes from. Because if you understand Jungian psychology, you understand the concept of the anima and the animus. And if you understand the anima, that's like your internal feminine, but also it is the internal feminine by which you judge yourself as a man. So it is the female, the spirit of femininity by which you judge your masculinity and your identity. And moreover, people that have not properly integrated their anima will project their anima onto a person, or more specifically, onto an anime character. So when I first started watching anime, I was in a very strange place where it's not even that I wasn't completely sure of my position in society and my feeling of self. So when I watched anime, I watched nothing but harem anime. And it wasn't like I went out of my way to watch nothing but harem anime.
It just had to be your taste and what you were happening.
Harem anime.
Yeah.
And the reason why I was attached to harem anime is because the core of the harem anime as a concept, psychologically, if you really break it down.
Get to the weed, bro. Snap. Yeah. Come on, Umar. Break it down.
Who is surrounded by temptation. He struggles with the temptation, but his moral foundation is so strong that no matter how close he is to completely breaking away from it, he can never truly sever himself from that moral foundation, which is the reason that he's surrounded by all of these people.
Yes, because they love him for his moral foundation. Yeah. Tenchi, we're talking the nigga from Negima.
Tenchi, the nigga from fucking Love Hina, who I can't remember because I only watched Love Hina for the fan service.
I was just saying, like, deadass. Tenchi is great because he has so many series, so obviously you know that nigga's name, but I don't know that nigga from Negima. I definitely can't tell you a lot of the other harem anime niggas, but I can tell you I understand exactly that. So basically,
even Elfin Lied is a fucking harem in its own right.
Right? It's wild that it's like loosely about body autonomy and then also about like the fact that like temptation is out there is wild.
Nah, that nigga cousin wanted to fuck him. I don't want to hear it.
Hey, but anyway, that's just Japan.
The coolest thing about the harem protagonist archetype is that he starts off weak, and then once he realizes that the people he's surrounded by love him, their love for him and their acceptance of him causes him to break free from him limiting himself, and then he explodes and becomes this very powerful being. That's like the archetype of all harem.
Every time.
It's true. Yeah. It's true. Tenchi became a god by the end of that shit. It was just like, oh yeah, no, by the way, I'm a spiritual god. I mean, the space god. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that archetype, and that's why like Carl Jung is so dope, because he speaks the archetype and he says that everything that you take in subconsciously, you're connected to it, and there's a reason why you're subconsciously connected to it. And that harem archetype is what I needed when I was younger, because like I didn't want to put myself in no compromising positions, but at the same time I was holding back aspects of myself because of that fear. And until I let go of that fear, I wasn't able to like develop into the person that can do the things that I can do now. And so with knowing all of that, when I watch anime, one, I can spot the archetypes immediately. So I'm not watching like Tokyo Revengers, for instance. I'm watching all the different character threads and all the different archetypes that exist.
Yeah.
And because I can
assigning roles actively while you're watching the show.
Yes, and it's way more fun to play in a world of my own creation than to like look at somebody else's world that I would never engage with. And so instead, like I have like 7 stories that I've written, and in time I'll have them made into different books. I'm working with certain comic companies so that they can be put out. And because I can write now and because I can draw, playing in my own realms is way more rewarding than anime. I only view anime as a way to connect with other people within my subculture. However, I have friends that like care way more about anime than I do. So like I let my friends talk to the people that really like anime, because the anime is just the entrance. It's the commonality.
Exactly.
You see me wearing a Dragon Ball shirt, and I know you wearing a Dragon Ball shirt. We can talk, and through talking, we'll be like, you like martial arts? You like Buddhism? You like kung fu movies?
Where did that lead you
exactly
into the subculture? Yeah,
exactly. I see,
and I can pinpoint how you think and how you are as a person, what concepts you're made out of, what beliefs you're made of, is way more interesting to me than what you think about Rock Lee kicking Gara in the face.
Indeed, right? And that was oh, go ahead.
I was about to say, like, yeah, because like Rock Lee kicking Gara in the face and ultimately losing that fight, but also winning that fight, is that's the surface level conversation to be had about this. There's only so much we can say about like Rock Lee doing what he did in that fight or Gara doing in that fight. But what you took away from that is ultimately going to decide, like,
indeed,
where we're going to go,
how we're going to connect in any face, because that tells me all about what your ethos and pathos is, because like where you stand on what this is will tell me more about your character, right, than just us talking about the weather or us just saying like, oh, you got a red car, I've got a red car, that's fantastic, right? Like that's a tactic that I use all throughout college, throughout my day-to-day life. Just like you said, it's like if I saw an individual and they're wearing an IP or they're wearing something that I like, or they're portraying something that I relate to, then I will take it out of I will take that opportunity to say, hey, I am interested in that, or hey, I am also in that fan base. I've made the best friends of my life. I've had very interesting like conversations, things like that, by opening myself to that because they open themselves by like putting that on. Like you put on the flag, you put the flag that said that you're into this type of thing and that you might be interested or open to that. And so I took that opportunity. And I think that's what it's like with content creation as well, is that you put up the flag. It's like, hey, this is what I'm into, this is what I like, this is my style. And then you just kind of like see where that is. Like just like you said, it's the commonality. So you find out like that anime itself, right, is just become a tool. So you don't actually participate in that as much, right, in the culture, because it's oh good.
And I was gonna say exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. No. And
even still, the anime culture is subjective. It's not something that belongs to us. It's not something that is ours. You know what I mean? So everything attached to like anime, everybody's like obsession with anime, it's only going to go so far. The real connection is going to come from the shared experience that we get from enjoying this medium.
Yeah, nigga. Yeah, I like these types of conversations because it's like when you talk to people that understand the situation, it's like it's so obvious because it's a sauce that we've already kind of seen. It's a thing that we've already kind of experienced, and just like you said, it was like, hey, these are people that are like Gary Vee said this already. You're like, all right, like this is the type of thing that people that are known or not known, but like not woke. The word I'm looking for, that are aware of this type of thing, like that have already experienced. I think that that's fun to share in that as well. Do you feel like ever that you get like lost in that sauce of like everybody's just talking about this like at a psychological level? Is like, oh yeah, I totally understand your experience because you love this particular thing, and nobody ever gets to creating the thing. Like,
is that something
that's what frustrates me. That's what's frustrating. That's why I don't be taking in that much. Like I legit go on the internet to listen to the Joe Rogan podcast, study like economics and philosophy, and listen to music. That although because I like go on Instagram and I can't. It's hard. I've taken in so much information that it's hard to process it. So now I try to show love. I try to reciprocate the love that is shown to me. But in terms of being able to actually enjoy a lot of the content that I see, I unfortunately can't because I've seen so much stuff. But what gives me hope is when I see the seeds of things being created and things being manifested into other things. So, for example, there's a dude named Brent Gray, and Brent Gray was an Instagram artist in the Black art world for a long time. And he had all these like crazy drops, these crazy colors and stuff. And homie made this webtoon called Ordeal, and his webtoon blew up. And so I got to see him develop his style and develop his technique. And I didn't even know this dude could write. And now he got like a webtoon that's up there. And people are like hitting me up that don't know that I've known about this dude forever. And they're like, hey man, you know about Ordeal? Or you know about Black Sun manga? Or like he would be asking me about like Noir Caesar or whatever. And I'd be like, yeah, it's good that Noir Caesar exists. We need them. They done made that anime that they still ain't put out yet. And so there are so many different people that have done so many cool things. And when I see that progress is being made, that's what motivates me to keep checking for stuff and keep finding ways to help people. But it's hard sometimes to purely engage for my own validation because I've taken in so much information now.
Yeah. And there's so much that you can only care
Straight
about
up,
for
that
so long.
I was about to say that's actually speaking to something that I feel like a lot of people like go through, especially when it comes to that, because once you're aware, once you see through the veil, like it's always up. Like it's hard to enjoy a series when you're thinking about the character arcs and where it's going to end, and when you call it right every time, it becomes a situation of like, how am I
How
am I
can I
still
enjoy
in,
this?
is this entertaining to me? Am I getting here before that? Am I looking for validation by providing the answers to these questions prior to the reveal? Like, is it like, and suddenly it's like, I don't want to be masturbating. Like, that's just not what I sat down to fucking do. Yeah, like if I'm gonna jack off, I'm gonna jack off. Like that's just how
I don't need this to do that.
Excuse my fucking forwardness with like that particular phrasing, but that's just kind of how I see it sometimes. Niggas just be mad,
Turning themselves off. Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm just like, hey guys, like it's cool. Like, but if we participate in meetings where
that's actually the origin of our exodus, or my personal like, hey, we need to get out the blurred community, the quote blurred community as soon as possible, because after a while, soon we're just gonna be jerking each other off, bro, and like we're only gonna get so far jerking each other off. So we need to get the fuck out.
Gotta get real sticky in here. Yo, all right. I think at this point, man, I've tried to squeeze you for as much as I possibly could, Jawasa. I mean, I really have. I've just been like, hey, look, what can I wring out of you as much as possible? And what I've found at this point with the bucket that I've amassed from squeezing as much as possible, there's some gems in this moment. And I absolutely appreciate every ounce of it, because like dead ass, you have given not only the keys to a lot of like success, to a lot of not success, progression, right? Because a lot of people promise success, but in any case, like it's all about your own particular work ethic, and you've demonstrated, right, in your own like demeanor, speech, and just time spent with us, that like the value of this time frame, like it's exponential, right? And so what I can say is that I don't know if I could ever repay you for like everything that you have dropped on this podcast today, but what I will say is this, is that if you need a nigga, come call it, because that ass, I'll be, give me the communicator, bro. Don't ever hesitate. If you find something that's like, yo, God, Mugen, nigga, all right, cool. If you find something that you could like ever need from the Well-Spoken Token, dead ass, we are fucking 100% there. Rock your merch, model, whatever you need, because you know nigga pretty. But this is the Well-Spoken Token, y'all. We have
wait.
Oh yeah, what? Okay, cool.
I don't got anything. I just wanted to be like, hey, real quick before we fucking dip, do you have any advice?
Excuse me,
for the blurred culture as a whole as you make your exit?
First of all, I'm going to say that unique style code already exists. Hypeland already exists. Namiware already exists. And as these are functions of our community that have decided to risk their own safety to provide, well, aside from Hypeland, because he's licensed, but these people have decided to take their time and energy and bread into crafting anime-inspired streetwear for your pleasure. You don't need to make no more anime-inspired streetwear. You don't need to slap no Akatsuki logos or nothing. You don't need to slap no freaking Cloud Ninja logos or nothing. Everybody loves the One Piece hats. Go sell you some One Piece hats. But people already got the anime streetwear covered, and we ain't even getting the Shopasco and none of them places. If you're going to come into the market, if you're going to provide value to the people, make sure that you're doing something that you're good at, and making sure you're doing something that you like and something that you can build a team around. Otherwise, you're going to end up alone and tired and burnt out. And the only person that you can blame is yourself. Now, for the greater Blerd community, there are no established leadership in the Blerd community at all. You cannot look to anybody in the Blerd community to lead you in your movements. If you're willing to follow, you must understand what value you bring to people and who you best bring value to. So, if you're operating into the Blerd community, you feel this is a place where you will be supported, motivated, where people will uplift you, you're absolutely right. But if you're expecting money, or if you're expecting access to connections, that's going to come with bringing value. And until you understand what value you bring, you can't be upset with anybody for not recognizing your value. It's up to you to determine what value you bring into a space, even if it's just your smile, even if it's these jokes. If you understand how to harness the value that you as a person bring into the world, you'll have a pretty cool existence.
Speak on it. That's real game. That's real knowledge. You heard it first, right the fuck here on the Well Spoken Token podcast. Couldn't have said it better, my motherfucking self. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Juaso, for coming to the pod. We're going to wrap it up here. We got awesome music for you. You know, we always supporting the underground artists. Any individual that's got dope-ass music, we love to feature you right here at the end of the podcast. We going to drop it. It's coming for you. It's the Well Spoken.
You a demon for this Death Note sample, bro. Hey, I think the sample from Death Note. Fuck on my main, but where did the rest go? I gotta get to the dollar like Creflo. I hold a grudge. Is what it is, what it was. I still fuck on my ex though. Only fell out with like 2 of the bitches I hit. I really do wish I'm the best though. I got a chopper, collapsible stock in a tuck. No energy drink is my energy up. Your list don't count, you ain't mentioning us. Put dick in her mouth, she been itching to fuck. 9-tailed demon in her gut. Don't know that nigga, he not one of us. I got a bad bitch on the side of me. She whip it up in the kitchen, massaging me light. Yagging me light, yagging me light, yagging me, yagging me, yagging that four with the cops. The pigs are 12, you look like the feds, you near, you L. My uncle caught her body, put him in a cell. When he got I was 6, could've gave him an L. My beats on E hard cause that bitch getting real. I'm a demon, so I'm probably going to hell. Out the gutter, I made it through. It's a number of games and we win in 82. Ain't in trouble, we making you. It's an elevator, all the levels I take it to. This how it is, this how it gotta be. Pay attention while I walk through the odyssey. I tell a lie, don't do the honesty. I ain't for sure, never a properly light. Y'all got me light, y'all got me light, y'all got me, y'all got me. I feel like Aaron Yeager, I'm fulfilling the